don't know about the whole process of getting back in. If that's what they're trying to do, there's a lot of emergency vehicles converging on the Capitol Hill. I will tell you that we have talked to some of the security that was with some of the cabinet secretaries, and they said that there was a shooter that tried to get through the magnetometer. He was armed, and that the shots were towards him from Secret Service. Don't know if he got shots off, but he was charging the magnetometer, according to one set of security officers with the cabinet secretary.
We're inside. We're just trying to keep the signal.
So they, rushed to get all of the. Obviously, the president, the vice president, as we've been talking about, were gone off the stage literally in seconds, and then the room filled with armed Secret Service members, and you probably saw that on camera very quickly. And in that moment, as people were huddled at the table, they're trying to get each individual cabinet secretary out with their own.
Trump's okay. President Trump is okay.
Chaos is going on. Later, as
that's what I've heard. President Trump is okay.
There might have been somebody else in the hotel.
I have the video. I have the video from the moment. If they don't replay it, I'll share it with you. I just posted it.
Possible shooter, and that he was charging the magnetometer. See if I can get some more ground truth on that.
Brett Baird joining us. You're hearing lots of cross traffic in terms of conversation. Brett, I want to ask you, and look, I understand, given everything that was going on, you may not have had a chance to notice Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary, who is quite pregnant. Did you see her? Is she okay?
Yeah, I think she was escorted out with the Secret Service right away.
Peter, I'm saying,
actually, front dais kind of got out soon, right after, and each individual cabinet secretary, it's a packed room, it's like sardines in there, and so trying to get around mobility-wise was tough, but the security did an amazing job locking it all down. The question is,
shots fired.
Was this person, did he get a shot off?
Together and
what's the
right now,
status
Trump's saying he wants to keep on.
Brett Baird joining us from the Hilton, where things are chaotic, but they appear to be attempting to welcome people back into the room. As you take a look at your screen there, you see the left side, it is still crowded. To the right side, you see the proverbial red carpet where folks come in, they take a picture, and then the escalator, if you'll notice in the very far back of the picture on the right, that's the escalator that leads you up to the ballroom, and that's where all the festivities happen. But on the left, you'll notice there are still obviously several hundred people inside the main ballroom, expecting that the evening will continue in some form or fashion. I want to see if do we still have Brian Kilmeade? Couldn't hear that. Let's see if we've got my good friend Shannon Bream, host of Fox News Sunday. Shannon, you and I have been to many of these. This will be unlike any of the others. What can you tell us about what you've seen so far?
Oh, President Trump just posted on Truth Social. President Trump just posted on Truth Social, like 11 seconds ago. Okay, guys. President Trump just posted. Just 23 seconds ago. Okay, so he says, quite an evening in D.C. Secret Service and law enforcement did a fantastic job. They acted quickly and bravely. The shooter has been apprehended, and I have been recommended that we let the show go on, but will entirely be guided by law enforcement. They will make a decision shortly. Regardless of that decision, the evening will be much different than planned, and we'll just plain have to do it again. Okay, so President Trump is okay. Where's my little America emoji? There you go. Okay, so President Trump is okay. He literally just posted. He just posted.
Will come next after this security incident that took place. Just to give you a sense of what it was like in the moments after this began. Remember, this is a room filled with not only journalists, but nearly the entire cabinet of the administration, the president and the vice president. And right when this took place, everyone hit the ground, people going under tables, and the cabinet secretaries were very quickly rushed out of the room. Just before the event began, they checked in with their security, and so there was an understanding of where all the cabinet secretaries were located, where the president and vice president were on the stage. As the security event was unfolding, these teams immediately got to the cabinet secretaries and ushered them out of this ballroom at the Washington Hilton. Right now, the ballroom is still filled. This is a lockdown situation. No one is allowed in or out of the area. And a bunch of the tension has subsided right now. People are waiting to see what will come next. The president of the White House Correspondents Association, Weijia Zhang, came to the podium very briefly and said that she would update people. There are questions about which administration officials are still here and if the president is still in the area and if this night will even go on. But again, a very tense moment. Yeah. And it appears that the police presence on the scene has gotten much larger outside, as you can see from those images. And again, inside the ballroom here, people just trying to gather what information they can on their phones. Remember, this is a ballroom that is filled with journalists, people who are covering the nation's capital and this president. And now this has become the news. And so at this moment, Kevin, people just gathering as much information as possible. And again, trying to determine what the next steps will be here after many people were very shaken up. A lot of people who were under tables crying and some let out screams. This was a very difficult moment, but again, the security response was immediate. And that was part of the reason that they were able to get the president, the vice president out, and many of these cabinet secretaries so quickly.
Trey, let me ask you, from where you are, what's your sense of how people are doing? Are they just going about it as if, well, that was something, or do you get the sense that people really want out of that room and they want to head home?
There are many people that want to leave after this event. Others waiting to see if this event will go on and to stay. But again, just to give you those initial seconds right after this took place, there was a lot of uncertainty of what was actually happening on the ground. And so you had immediately people getting as flat as they could, many hiding under tables. And when they looked up, you could see armed, even men in SWAT gear, getting these cabinet secretaries out.
Yeah, guys, there was a gunshot.
High-profile guests to the
Here, okay, let me go to my X post because I found the video of like the moment that it happened. It's trending all over. Guys, look at this. So this is one video. Look at this.
Everybody's good. Nice. So one shooter, two weapons. It is now a crime scene. Secret Service is in custody, has the person in custody. Everything's okay. One shooter, we know so far.
Okay, so there's this. And then I'll scroll through the like my feed because that'll get me more videos. But okay, so this is the main video, I guess. Wait. This is the main video. Oh wait, my browser lost connection to audio. Jeez. All right, give me a moment. Sorry, guys. Oh, I hate when this happens. Stop sharing. Okay, let me just reshare this. Okay. This is the video. This is max volume, guys. This is as loud as it goes. Do you know how many assassination attempts they attempted against the Shah of Iran, the previous Shah? Yeah, I shared President Trump's Truth Social post as soon as it came out. It came out like a while ago, not a while, like a few minutes ago. So like within like 10 seconds, I was sharing it. So President Trump said, "Quite an evening in D.C. Secret Service and law enforcement did a fantastic job. They acted quickly and bravely. The shooter has been apprehended, and I have been recommended that we let the show go on, but will entirely be guided by law enforcement. They will make a decision shortly. Regardless of that decision, the evening will be much different than planned, and we'll just plain have to do it again." So, I mean, you can sort of hear the gunshots, but it's faint. Like the audio isn't the loudest on this video. I don't know. One or two. We're guys. We're still figuring out what's going on here, but all we know is that President Trump is safe. But let's watch this again. All right. Look how quickly the big guns come out. Wow. Look how quickly the big guns come out. Good for them. Look at these heroes. Look at these heroes, literally like risking their lives to protect their president. Heroes right there, American heroes. Wow, so many. This is what you call a security team. This is what you call a good security team. Wow. And then I think there was like a woman who was like in a tank top or something. She was like, I think she was like undercover security. Yeah, President Trump is safe. It's right at the bottom of my banner. President Trump is safe, thank God. Okay, oh my gosh, look at this. Carolyn says there's going to be shots fired, but this was 2 hours ago.
Rumble, is he not?
He is ready to rumble. I will tell you, this speech tonight will be classic Donald J. Trump. It'll be funny. It'll be entertaining. There will be some shots fired tonight in the room. So everyone should tune in. It's going to be really great. I'm looking forward to hearing it.
I love it all. And you wrote.
I know she meant comedy shots. I get that. She meant comedy shots. Guys, this isn't a conspiracy theory. We always say shots fired when we're talking about comedy. It's just, I'm just saying it's a crazy, I'm pointing out the irony. Guys, I'm pointing out the irony of this because this was posted 2 hours ago. I'm pointing out the irony, guys, the irony. Shots fired is a very common phrase. Guys, don't like go into like weird conspiracy theory stuff here. I'm pointing, all I'm saying is it just showed up on my feed. I'm pointing out the irony. I'm pointing out the irony, guys. That's all it is. Don't go crazy. Okay, here's more footage. Here's more footage from Fox News. Police seen running through the Washington Hilton where the White House Correspondents' dinner is being held.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Oh my God.
That they would give this another go, just because I obviously out of an abundance of caution, I would probably not allow the president to return if I were in his security detail. Again, understanding that he is the boss. Your viewpoint, as it appears that they're going to try to continue to celebrate the First Amendment and resume the evening at the Correspondent's dinner.
I mean, the thing is, he does not want an incident to stop what we're supposed to do. I mean, the whole thing about from terrorism when it first burst on the scene, 9/11. Got to go back to your life. Don't let terrorism stop you. And if the Secret Service says we cleared the facility, we cleared the facility. I will just relay to you the information that I got. You know, I was sitting next to Tulsi Gabbard. Literally, she was right to my right. Immediately after I smelled the gunpowder, I see the frantic running up the center aisle. Evidently, now we're learning that the shooting happened in the lobby, but they quickly went and grabbed the cabinet secretaries. The first one I saw that they grabbed almost abruptly was RFK. And meanwhile, when I looked up at the podium, I'm talking 5 seconds, the whole podium was empty. President, the vice president, other side of the dais, they were gone. And then I looked over and there's Mark Wayne Mullen. They get him out. Then they get Sean Duffy out. And I watch RFK get out. And I mean, I don't know a cabinet secretary that wasn't at this event. They were all there. In fact, I was able to go with Rachel and Sean into the cabinet secretary's own get together before. So I saw every single one of them. And I'm trying to think to myself who was missing. You know, I even saw the FCC director. So this is a target-rich environment for evil people. But the thing is, Kevin, I'll tell you, my ticket was taken, and I will go to grab my ticket, and all of a sudden, when I go back, the president arrives. So there's magnetometers everywhere. They literally were patting everybody down again, and they went through everything again. So how someone got to the point where they apparently had a gun is beyond me, and got through it. You know, it must be something that was planned way ahead of time. And we did hear when we got back into the Fox room, I get in there, and when Secret Service came in fully armed up with bulletproof vests on, and they said, "Come with us. There's someone here hiding." Now, whether they were saying that to get us out, I'm not sure. So they grabbed us through the kitchen, and we went out through the kitchen. And on my right, I saw Kash Patel. And one of the main people they got out is, believe it or not, on my table is Erica Kirk, obviously traumatized under the table. They grabbed her. Kash Patel was with her for a second, and then he was working the scene. So literally, you couldn't have had more officials in one place. I don't think you have more besides the team picture. I don't know of another place to get all the officials.
Yeah, I agree completely. Brian, stay with us. Want to welcome our managing editor and anchor of Special Report, Brett Baer, back into the conversation. Brett, it is not lost on those of us who have covered the presidency what happened to Ronald Reagan at the very same building.
Reagan.
That's exactly right. And right outside is a carport that was added after the Reagan shooting, where it happened just in front of the Washington Hilton in that entrance where the red carpet was tonight. You're exactly right, Kevin. You know, I sent in, and hopefully they can turn it around, the video that I took off my phone in the seconds that right after it happened, and you can see all of the Secret Service agents rushing in, arms drawn, and you can see next to me the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen, a Secret Service on his back, kind of holding him down, and you can see the cabinet secretaries and various tables being surrounded by Secret Service in that moment as everybody's huddling under the table. So, you know, mass chaos in those first moments. I think we're starting to get some ground truth about a shooter trying to make it through with a magnetometer, and maybe it's Secret Service that takes the shot at the shooter and kills him. We're trying to get some more information on that. I think it's going to be quite something if they do this event again, start it up again, to your point with Brian. We're in a different environment now. And, you know, as we were in the basement of the Washington Hilton, as they're clearing room to room, it was urgent. And they were telling us to run out of the building. So you can imagine, you know, all the people shaken up inside that room.
Yeah, and it is quite the gathering. If I'm not mistaken, more than 1,000 people fit in that particular ballroom, having been in it many, many times. It is no.
Yeah. So Anthony Unplugged Channel says the left will 100% use that shots fired quote against Levitt and the validity of the shooting for no reason or some political commentators will connect some conspiracy dots with Kirk's. Oh yeah, 100% with Kirk's shooter, 100%. That's exactly what's going to happen. Like, guys, shots fired is a very, very common phrase, right? It's one of the, it's, you know, it's a very common phrase, especially when you're dealing with like comedy or whatever, right? Like when you're, you know, when you're saying something funny about someone, right? The other person can, it's like, oh my God, like shots fired, right? So it's a very, very common phrase, especially in the context of like a White House Correspondents' Dinner, right? So guys, if you're not sure what a Correspondents' Dinner is, let me explain to you, because I've been to several of these, you know, back when I was an elected official myself in Ontario. So basically, a Correspondents' Dinner is when politicians and media get together for a night of fun. And, you know, you have speeches from the media sometimes, and, you know, they're basically like, you know, making fun of politicians. But you also have speeches from the politicians who make fun of the media. So the White House Correspondents' Dinner is like the one night a year that politicians, you know, including President Trump, has the opportunity to, you know, like make jabs at the media, and the media, like, you know, they you know, they can't take it seriously because it's all in good fun, right? So the White House Correspondents' Dinner is kind of like a way, you know, once a year for politicians and media to kind of like let off steam and let off, you know, all like the you know, like the, you know, stress or, you know, tension or whatever the case might be. So when Carolyn Levitt says shots fired, she's referring to President Trump's speech, which is meant to you know, like make jabs at the media. So that's what she's referring to. But Anthony, you're 100% correct. I can definitely see like the woke left and whatever, you know, using this to come up with some sort of crazy conspiracy theory. Melissa says protect Donald at all costs. I agree. We have heard that he is safe though, so that's fine. Oh, look, here's his post.
They acted quickly
Guys,
and
I
bravely.
shared his
The
truth
shooter has
before
been
Fox News.
apprehended,
Look at
and I
that.
have recommended that we let the show go on, but will entirely be guided by law enforcement. They will make a decision shortly. Regardless of that decision, the evening will be much different than planned, and we'll just plain have to do it again. That from the president on Truth Social. Want to welcome our other senior White House correspondent, Peter Doocy. He is joining us from a very interesting evening, to say the least. Peter, how you holding up?
Kevin, it was really scary in there.
Yeah.
And 19th Avenue, right now, you can see just endless sirens. And this is in addition to what they had before, because when you're coming to the Correspondents' Dinner, everybody knows that the president will be there, the vice president is going to be there. It's essentially just one step down from a national security special event like a convention or the inauguration, where they essentially put all hands on deck with the national security apparatus. But so there are extra police because, based on reports, there was this shooting, or there was a shooter near the main, told by a very source that there was a shooter at the main mags who is down. I heard Jackie's firsthand, share my firsthand point of view. At the stage, looking out towards the main doors, I had my back kind of 3/4 to the stage. Basically, not my back quite to the stage, but looking out towards the whole auditorium. And they were just starting to pass the bread when a whole rush of people started to come up towards the front door. And maybe less than 5 minutes earlier, the honor guard had presented the colors for President Trump, and the rest of the audience gathered to salute the country and to salute the honor guard. A rush of people who I thought might have been part of something. You know, we're going to have a mentalist as the main entertainment tonight. I thought it might be something related to the entertainment, but there was a rush of people towards the front of the stage. And when I turned around to look at the actual stage and the head table, which was about 30 feet from where I was sitting, there was a Secret Service officer who again, everything is unfolding in real time. I would believe it to be from the Hawkeye team, which is the people that respond when something really, really bad happens. I turned my back, and there was an officer with a long rifle pointed in the direction of our table. And I'm sure that we have this video. There were officers every couple of feet with their rifles pointed out towards the crowd. That is not something that happens unless there is an extreme threat to the life of the president or the life of the vice president. Is very, very similar
I'm just like
to what we saw in Butler, Pennsylvania. And honestly, because the cell signal is so jammed right now, it's either because there are some in this ballroom, or the law enforcement folks in DC have the ability to jam us. There's like no cell signal getting. I'm actually seeing the video. I'm looking at it right now on a little bit of a delay on our photographer, one of our photographer Brett's cell phone. It's kind of freezing up, but that is very similar to the response in Butler. I don't know if you guys have had it yet in the show because I just got dialed in, but I'm going to read what the Secret Service said because it's important. The U.S. Secret Service, in coordination with the Metropolitan Police, is investigating a shooting incident near the main screening area at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. The president and the first lady are safe along the protectees. One individual is in custody. And something else that's really interesting, Kevin, you know,
Peter, let me interrupt you for just a second.
Yes.
I just want to let you know that we're getting word the president will conduct a news conference from the White House in about 30 minutes from now. And let's listen in. I see Weijia.
To do it tonight. You wanted to continue despite the news, but has to follow security protocol. I said earlier tonight that journalism is a public service because when there is an emergency, we run to the crisis, not away from it. And on a night when we are thinking about the freedoms in the First Amendment, about how fragile they are, I saw all of you reporting, and that's what we do. So, thank God everybody is safe. And thank you for coming together tonight. We will do this again. Thank you.
Fair. No, guys, for people saying that I've upstaged 2C, no, I haven't. Guys, I'm just doom watching. I'm doom watching, and I asked people in my Discord server, should I live stream? So I'm live streaming so we can doom watch together, because I would be watching this anyway.
Done at a future point. Let's welcome Sean Hannity into the conversation. By the way, thank you to Peter Ducey, who's actually outside there. I know cell service gets to be a little hinky when you have so many people all at once trying to use a limited number of cell towers. Sean, your perspective, as we heard there from Weijia, that the night is canceled.
The night, it was interesting, Kevin, because I was on the phone with the president for about 10 minutes, and I can confirm, yes, he is going back to the White House. He will be making a statement. He will be making a statement about going there in the future, in the very near future. I expect that probably will be brought up tonight. I will tell you, the president was, he without an exception, everybody around him was pleading with him not to go back in the room. That's what his instinct was telling him to do.
We'll go to his Truth Social next.
He was joking about
I have it ready to go.
Not everybody was laughing about it. I actually heard part of the deliberation, and it was the overwhelming consensus that they didn't know if this was a lone wolf or perhaps a greater conspiracy, or perhaps somebody came in behind this one shooter. I can also confirm to you this, that the FBI Director, Kash Patel, he is there. The perpetrator is on the scene. They're processing it. They confirmed one U.S. Secret Service agent was, in fact, shot. The round was stopped by the vest. And I give all credit to all these guys that put their lives on the line for everybody. The president was saying, well, I made sure that the First Lady was safe. But again, the people around him were very, very concerned, rightly so, especially in light of the culture that we are living in. And if you go back to what we have all been through as a nation, and you think about it, there's just too many questions. We don't know. Again, you go back to the lone wolf, wider conspiracy. Probably this will be examined and discussed for weeks and weeks ahead. Certainly you would think that that room would be safe and secure, but we do know from the very beginning that the shooter charged the magnetometer closest to the front door. And that's where he took that shot and did hit the Uniform Division Secret Service agent. Thank God he had a vest on. His condition is good. He is going to be fine. But again, out of an abundance of caution, the people around the president were beyond adamant that they did not want this to go forward. They didn't feel like they would be able to, within any reasonable period of time, get that room safe and secure. And the shooter, that shot at the Secret Service member, the agent did return fire. We know that part. We don't know if that person is alive. Well, we do know he's alive because he's being interrogated now by the FBI, that part. So I can only say that
I'm glad that you shared that, Sean, because we obviously heard conflicting reports about not just what happened with respect to where the shooter was, when the gunfire happened, did they make it through the mags, how close the shooting actually happened to the ballroom, which, as you know, is on the second floor. So I appreciate the background. Stay with us for just a second, Sean. I want to read this. This is the president posting on Truth Social. Law enforcement has requested that we leave the premises consistent with protocol, which we will do immediately. I will be giving a press conference in 30 minutes from the White House press briefing room. The First Lady plus the Vice President and all cabinet members are in perfect condition. We will be speaking to you in a half an hour. I've spoken with all the representatives in charge of the event, and we will be rescheduling within 30 days. That from President Donald J. Trump. Sean, back to you. You and I had talked about this previously. We both know the president, you much better than I. I'm not surprised that he would want to at least have the evening happen. I know he wanted to have it happen tonight, but now we'll see if it happens sometime within the next 30 days.
Yeah, Candace is deranged.
Was very clear. That came up.
She's going to come up with some weird conspiracy theory.
The first part of the discussion that I heard.
No one cares about her anyway. She's irrelevant.
There wasn't a single
She's just
person
like
that was
an
in that
idiotic
room, and there were a number of people with them, obviously, that agreed with that assessment for a variety of different reasons. Nobody could assure that this was a lone gunman, and nor could they assure the safety and security of that room. He tried to make the argument for it.
You want me to make a poll?
That it would be hours and hours away from being safe and secure. So then the president, I heard him make the decision. Okay, we'll go back to the White House. We'll make a statement, but I want this rescheduled in 30 days. Those were words that came right out of his mouth. And at that point, and I do know, having talked to the FBI director very briefly, the FBI director is with the shooter. And the Secret Service agent that was in fact shot, thank God he had body armor on, he will be okay. And that's the latest that we know. Now there's going to be a lot of questions, Kevin, and I know you've been bringing up different aspects of this discussion, the culture that we're living in, the rhetoric in the country, all of the above. And I think that a lot of this is going to be discussed. I'm looking on the screen now. I see somebody being escorted out. Obviously, they got hurt. I don't know if they got hurt in terms of the shooting, or if maybe, when they fell to the floor, something might have happened. But it's a scary time for people. This is the president of our country. We all watch Butler. We all watch Trump International. And now on this, what was supposed to be a somewhat celebratory night, where
let me redo the poll.
A president that has given more access to the media than any modern day president that I can think of. And there is hostility, but still, this is a night that they were going to come together, hopefully laugh. I don't know what some of these people might have said, but we've got to pray for our country.
Okay, guys,
and a healing that somehow can take place. I know a lot of the issues we talk about may seem irreconcilable at times, but there's got to be a way to have.
Sorry, I'm going to restart the poll. So whatever you put in, disregard, we're going to restart it now, because now I have all three options.
and racist, because that's the end summary of what I think the left has done to him. It's dehumanizing. They have vilified, and unfortunately, there are a lot of people that are not well, and those people that are not well, could be susceptible to any suggestions that some people give, and that's the message. I'll have more
well
Monday
said,
night.
My friend. I really appreciate you sharing that. I just want to share this detail from backstage. Our colleague Jackie Heinrich and others have reported that poor Erica Kirk. I mean, you mentioned we all saw Butler. Look, we all saw what happened to poor Charlie. We got this from backstage. Erica Kirk came running through the backstage in tears, crying, "I just want to go home." She was then escorted out of the building. It's just, again, it's one of those situations, Sean. I think you said it so well. The discourse, the tone, it's something's got to give here for the betterment of our country and indeed the entire world.
Kevin, I know somebody that actually saw that moment, saw her, spoke to her briefly, and can you really blame her? I mean, she watched an assassination of her young husband, somebody that believed in spirited, friendly, fun debate, that had a deep faith in God. And I just think that our better angels at some point here have got to take over. I know the tensions are high.
No, I'm not
I know the
manually
stakes are
counting.
high. I understand the political ramifications of
Once
all
I
of it.
stop the poll,
And
you give me the result.
we all care.
Just put in your answer.
I do give the president a lot of credit. I mean, to hear the little bit of deliberations that I was privy to, and I did ask if I can report this, and
So the poll is working. It's not updating. So think of it as a blind poll. We don't know what the final result's going to be until I stop it, because it's just like it's like a weird glitch for like the StreamYard app or whatever.
It will take us 5 hours to clear that room and make it anywhere near safe and secure for you to go back in there.
You have to put a number.
It's not doable tonight.
1, 2, or 3.
And at that point, the president said, "All right, let me go back to the White House." He'll be giving remarks momentarily.
But as soon as I stop it, that's what it shows. Then if I resume,
"But I'm going back." And those were the words he used. And I want it within 30 days. I did hear that part of that conversation. I was privy to, and I give him a lot of credit for that. That is the same guy we discussed earlier in Butler when he got hit, stood up, fight. And he's a pretty unique historical figure in many ways.
What's for?
And it's hard to watch all of this. And, I don't care. We've got to keep elected officials, Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative. We've got to protect them.
That's right.
And I'm not casting aspersions against anybody.
But it's literally
I am saying that there's got to
3.
be, reevaluation of this. There are so many brave men and women that do put their lives on the line to protect our elected officials. But when a breach like this can happen, we need a full reexamination of all of it.
Both is going ahead.
The great Sean Hannity. Thank you, my friend, for your perspective. We appreciate that. We also have
Kevin.
Brett Baer and others with us here tonight. We'll welcome them back in momentarily. In the meantime, I want to welcome my colleague, Alicia Acuna. She'll also help us with our coverage here tonight. Alicia, Peter Doocy is outside the Washington Hilton. He, of course, is our senior White House correspondent.
Hi, Kevin. Yes, and we're awaiting, I guess, more word from Peter Doocy at some point here, but I can't help but stop and think as I'm watching all of this unfold, and as I was preparing to come out here, thinking about you and I sitting next to each other on the big weekend show before we came out, before all of this unfolded. And what was the big mystery here? What was the president going to say when he was standing before the journalists? How are they going to respond? We've talked about what people were wearing, and here we are once again, for the 3rd time in 2 years, talking about the Secret Service going into action to protect the President of the United States. Twice before, he was the nominee, once in Butler and then again in Florida. And now here, I believe David Spun said, this is one of the most protected places on earth on this night, right? It doesn't rise to the exact level that Peter Doocy was saying when you're talking about an inauguration, but it comes pretty darn close. And now, once again, Americans are watching violence unfold in an area where the President of the United States is, and it's really hard not to hurt in that way, you know? And I think about the First Lady. She was there tonight. We were all talking, you remember tonight, about what could she possibly be wearing? What will she's always so elegant. And she had to sit there once again and stands tonight knowing that her husband once again was in such danger.
Boy, that's such a great point,
Right.
too. She's
So it seems
a
like
picture of
option one.
elegance, and yet she's also had to go through so much. I can't imagine what's going through her mind right now, as, of course, we look forward to hearing from the president here shortly. But in the meantime, let's welcome Trey Yingst back into the conversation. Trey has been inside the ballroom, which appears to be emptying out just a bit. Trey, what do you have?
Yeah, Kevin, just to give you a sense of.
All right, we've heard from Trey, so let's go to a different channel. Let's see what's happening here. Oh, shoot. Lost connection to audio. Sorry, guys, give me one moment. Gosh, I hate this. So frustrating. All right. I'm sharing my screen again. We're going to go to One America News and see what they have, because we've already heard from Trey. So it seems like they're just repeating speakers here. So let me add this and then let's continue.
To be in a building where the president is, at least. Just some looming questions on how that individual was able to sneak that weapon through. I wonder too, and this we'll follow up with this after the fact, but if
honestly, it's insane to me that the White House doesn't even have a ballroom. Like, yeah, absolutely. Why would you not want to have a ballroom in the White House so that you can control security and safety? Like, it's insane. It's insane that the leftists are like complaining about a ballroom. 100% it justifies the ballroom. PJ says, thank you, Goldie, for your constant support of President Trump and the people everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for your support.
maybe Trump will address that in about, 10 minutes from now?
Appreciate that.
Yeah, about 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. I think you're absolutely right. And it does raise a ton of questions. And it makes you wonder because, other attempts on his life, Butler, Pennsylvania, obviously, which raised a whole lot of questions, investigations all over the place, Capitol Hill, Secret Service, all kinds of places. So, yeah. And then there was the shooter on his golf course. So, and now this. So, you do have to wonder, and certainly you have to ask questions about the security and wonder about the process of providing security for this president, if it is somehow flawed, perhaps fundamentally. And I think that we're going to hear a lot about that. And here we've got more motorcades coming by. You can probably hear that. It's more excitement.
Yeah, it's always very, very busy. It seems like it's like on every block they're boarding up with law enforcement, given what happened tonight, John and Alex. The amount of people.
It's busy out here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, what's interesting is we saw the presidential motorcade before coming from the hotel.
Wait, let me just go to CNN.
Are likely parents or not, who might be experiencing what so many children across this country endure every day in schools.
Oh my gosh. Are you
Hang on, I'm so sorry, Ben. Because the president.
Look, I can't deal with that. So they go right away to school shootings. Insane freaks. You insane freaks.
But I know it is deemed safe
there
now that
CNN.
this person is in custody. And so I think people are just kind of talking amongst themselves, talking to other people, trying to figure out what happened tonight and working through the details as we're learning them in real time. And so, John, we saw some high-profile attendees there. We saw Linda McMahon. You spoke to a congressman, McCall, I think it was. And so there was everybody Mike McCall. I mean, if you're anybody in D.C., you are there at this event, especially one headlined by President Trump, the first time coming to an event like this as a sitting president. Obviously, he skipped on the event in the past few years, but maybe this one was special for so many reasons. You know, we have an ongoing conflict in Iran. We have stuff working through Congress.
Let's go to Newsmax.
I know if
Newsmax
I'm
is
under,
good
you know,
too.
under the table with him. My husband's across the table. He's under the table as well. You know, next to he was next to Carrie Lake. I hear Chris Ruddy tell Franklin Graham, "Get down, get down, get down," because Franklin was the last one down at our table. So I mean, it was just pandemonium.
Yeah.
There's some video now coming in of the takedown of the shooter. If you stand by, if you have to go, Greta, tell us, but it was playing out on the screen. And this might look like the aftermath of the takedown. Yeah, because the shooter appears to be on the ground, Bianca, obviously. So it's our first, you know,
I'll tell you,
go ahead.
Ed,
Go ahead.
Ed, you just cannot
there he is.
underestimate how bad the traffic was to get into the place and how terrible the security was once you opened the door. You know, I mean, the traffic wasn't security. The traffic was just sort of a mess with a bunch of police cars stopping. Anybody could have walked in there.
Greta,
Anybody could have.
so the one thing that we're seeing now is that there appeared to be like a sheet or a towel over this shooter, and he has no shirt on. I don't know if he was a protester, had the shirt off, if law enforcement ripped his shirt off to see if he had a bomb on him, or what may have transpired. All that's going to come out, obviously, and we're going to hear from the President of the United States live, pardon me, any moment now from the White House briefing room. And oh, by the way, Greta, there's one other piece of information, which is when you read that White House pool note that says we are flying back to the White House, fastest motorcade I've ever been in, they say the motorcade was rolling at 9:46, which is only 14 minutes ago. Why is that important? Bianca, that tells us the president was still at the hotel. He did not.
Oh, yeah, they probably held him there.
They had him in a holding room.
Yeah. I'll tell you, they probably did hold him there, Ed, because when we, first of all, it was raining. We're all walking in the raining to this building, and that's not raining now, but you could hear protesters. I said it sounded like protesters on the other side of the hotel. So, but that's Washington. I mean, you know, we like the First Amendment. We're proud of the First Amendment. People protest even when you don't like it. You know, we're proud of it. We don't like shootings. We don't like terrorism. We don't like anything like that. So it's people that's sort of ordinary. That was the only thing that was abnormal that I thought was the lack of security.
Yeah, well, that is abnormal. In the wake of where we are, there's, you know, a war in Iran. This is now a question we keep asking all our guests, Greta, is how is this happening? How is this allowed to happen again and again? And no one seems to really be able to answer that. The failures
well, you know,
they're going to continue.
I mean, I
after
guess the
time
flip
after
side
time.
is we don't want to live in a police state either. You know, you can't shut. You know, this is a hotel, and you can't shut it down. But I think in some ways, I suspect the rain was part of the problem getting people into the building.
Yeah.
You know, because it was raining. It was be my guess. You know, because it's free. It was also cold.
Right.
And get everybody cold, and getting all these people into the building, and people who hadn't seen each other in a long time, where people stopped and talked to each other. I talked to John Fetterman for a long time.
Let's see.
Fact that the president, the vice president, multiple cabinet secretaries, multiple top members of Congress were all inside of this. This is a hotel that regularly hosts this event. The security posture, I recognize that maybe to some it looked stepped up, but frankly, the years that I've been there with presidents and without presidents, this is my 9th or 10th dinner, the security felt the exact same. And I will say, yes, there is a cursory check of bags and there's a cursory check of tickets, but there was, to my mind, nothing that felt stepped up about what we ultimately saw last night. And to give viewers a sense, and I think you guys...
Tonight, Alicia.
You know, Kevin, aren't we all just praying for our country tonight? Because this is a jarring moment, I think, for the United States, for Americans to sit back and watch this occur once again. So, yes, we are all praying for our country right now. And joining us now by phone is host of Fox News at Night, Trace Gallagher. Trace, you were in the ballroom as well, correct? Oh, my apologies. We do not have Trace at this moment. Who do we have on the phone right now?
You know what? I can tell you this, Alicia. While we continue to try to get more staff, and we had so many, obviously, in the ballroom, I just want to point something out. I was watching earlier, right as you see them now clearing the material on the left side there. I was watching as Trey Yingst was describing the perimeter. And as you look at the semicircle there on the right, where the Correspondent's Dinner is at the Washington Hilton, I know you've been as well, it is still remarkable to think that someone who is armed, who is not a part of the security detail, can get.
Okay, guys. One of our viewers, it was Jennifer. So Jennifer on X just sent this update. Guys, everyone put a J in the chat for Jennifer. We have an update from the FBI. So FBI just posted about half an hour ago. The FBI, audio is lost. Okay, so the FBI Washington Field Office's National Capital Response Squad has responded to a shooting at the Washington Hilton in Washington, D.C. The subject is in custody. Okay, so that's the up. So apparently the shooter is alive, I guess, and is in custody. So there we go. Thank you so much for that update, Jennifer. I appreciate that. Guys, this makes it so much better for me. Instead of just like doom scrolling and watching it on my own, I guess we can watch it together. So I appreciate all of you being here. All right. Let's go back to Fox News now.
Yes, I'm right here.
Hi, Brett. Thank you so much. It's Alicia Acuna. So glad that you and Amy and everyone are safe. Wanting to know now any update that you have and what's going on around you.
Well, we've evacuated now. We're out of the building, and you may have heard early on, we were escorted by Fox Security. By the way, we should give a big applause to our own security staff that worked alongside the Secret Service. And in those chaotic first seconds, I should say, as everybody's taking to the ground and going under tables, and you see the president being escorted out there with the cordon of Secret Service agents. At the same time, you know, our security was jumping to all the executives and all the tables that we had and did a great job. We managed to get out through a back door to a lower point of a holding room where we had a pre-party. And that's when I described these heavily armed Secret Service, full gear, as you're seeing on the screen now. Those guys, looking like those guys, came into the room and said, you had to get out of this area, run to underneath the Washington Hilton.
Sorry, Mike was muted. Yeah, guys, I'm seeing your comments about who the person might be. Lots of rumors going around. I'm gonna avoid saying anything. I mean, you guys can continue talking in the chat and sharing your thoughts and rumors and things like that. I'm just not gonna say anything until we actually know what's going on. Because there's so much info, right? But we'll find out eventually who it was for sure.
This president has been through this, and he's going to have some words about standing up to this kind of threat.
Speculate all you guys want.
He says he wants to do it again within 30 days, and I'm sure we'll be back in the Washington Hilton in that same spot with a lot of security. And Kevin, to your point, you're right. There's different levels. They shut off streets, 3-4 streets away. As you get closer to the Washington Hilton, we went through a number of different stops with our tickets, and then obviously the magnetometers to get into the ballroom itself.
Indeed, Brett. Go ahead, Alicia.
Oh, thank you. Brett, I was struck by something. When we were on the big weekend show, we were showing all of our Fox family going through the red carpet at the step and repeat and taking pictures. And I saw video of you and your beautiful wife, Amy. And I have to ask you what that was like for you. We have covered these.
Yeah, guys, I just want to say really quickly, this is not an Iran Revolution Live, episode. This is like the Goldie Show, guys. This is what I used to do before the Iranian revolution started. So Different rules apply here. Just, don't be, rude or anything like that. But I mean, you guys want to speculate, you want to talk, you want to share, rumors, go for it. Like chats open for that. It's literally why I'm doing this, because I could just watch this on my own, but I figured, might as well live stream it and we can all watch together. So yeah, like go for it. This is the same rules don't apply here because this is a different scenario. So yeah, guys, go crazy, go wild. Rumors, speculation, whatever, go for it. That's why we're here.
She was very shaken, I should say. But, 2 tables away was Erica Kirk, who also was under the table and obviously was really shaken up. And she was escorted out and, crying in the back hall, as you can imagine, after the assassination of her husband.
Boy, it just really tugs at the heartstrings when you hear stories like Brett's and others. I was struck by the fact that they ushered Caroline Leavitt
I'm very sad about Erica.
So quickly. For those who know, the White House press secretary, of course, is I want to say 8.5 months pregnant. So they were able to usher her off of the stage safely. But again, families like Brett's and others, and a harrowing circumstance, certainly in the early stages, you just don't know what's going on. Joining us now is Martha McCallum and Trace Gallagher. They're at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. They're not quite ready yet. We'll be joined by them momentarily. Brett, if I might just add this last layer, we're expecting the...
So if IRGC media is going to cover this, like they'll probably spin it as President Trump has lost control of the country, Americans are mad at him, and the Islamic regime it has been successful in turning Americans against President Trump, and the attacks are only going to continue. That's how the Islamic regime would spin this. They would try to spin this as like a victory for the Islamic regime, right? And they would say, look, we have like sleepers. I'm just assuming, but I'm thinking that's what the Islamic regime would say. They would spin this as like, look, even Americans hate President Trump, and they're trying to assassinate him because they support the Islamic regime, blah 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 blah, right? So that's probably how they're going to spin it. Even if they're not involved, that's how they would spin it.
And which is part of the message of let's get back at this within 30 days. So I assume you'll hear a very resolute President Donald Trump by the time he takes the podium in the White House briefing room.
And Brett, we're watching the White House briefing room. We're looking at the camera from where we are right now. And I believe I saw someone in a tux. It looks like some people who were in the room where you were somehow made it also to the White House briefing room, which is incredible, talking to Aisha. And I've been to a couple of White House Correspondents' Dinner. It's been years, but getting in and out, as she said, is nearly impossible on a good night. But yeah, I'm looking at a woman right now. She has an evening gown on. It's just so striking.
Yeah, it is. And, the press pool travels with the president. I don't know if they managed to get it.
Guys, you know who my team is? My team is me and my phone and my laptop. That's basically it. That's basically it. I actually don't have a team. I have you guys, though. You guys are amazing. So, I have a community of amazing people, but I don't actually have a team or anything. Although my sister helps me out a lot. But thank you for the kind words. I appreciate that.
Of the First Amendment. Oz Perlman, was going to do his whole routine with the president. The president was expected to talk for, not until later in the evening, but, it was a celebration, really. And the fact that he showed up was a big thing, and obviously was mentioned by the president of the White House.
Yeah, I know. Like, that's what I'm saying. The community, the Discord community, you guys are fantastic.
We want to continue the conversation. As we're looking over here on the left side, I see some familiar faces, people that I'm sure you would recognize as well, as they are now preparing the podium. What happens usually if the president is going to speak in the Brady press briefing room, they will bring in a bevy, sometimes as many as a half dozen Old Glories, American flags, and then they will bring, I imagine, because there were so many individual cabinet members that were there, it is highly likely that they too will speak tonight. Would that be your expectation as well, Brett?
Well, you may have the FBI director talk about what they know. I'm not don't know that for a fact. As we were running out following the Secret Service and their orders to get out of those rooms underneath the Washington Hilton, we passed by.
I shouldn't laugh at this, but it's so funny. You guys, because the White House Correspondents' Dinner is supposed to be the one night that reporters take off, right? So it's literally the one night that journalists take off, and that's when they get drunk and they party and whatever. Oh no. And they didn't get to dinner. I shouldn't laugh, but this is so funny. The reporters are drunk and starving. Oh no. Oh no. What's funny is that the comment drunk reporters have to work now, because this was at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. So again, I explained it. The Correspondents' Dinner is the one night of the year that reporters, they take the night off, right? And they basically have dinner and drinks and they get drunk, and then politicians come and they give funny speeches where they're attacking the media. So this comment, is funny because all these reporters are now, who thought they would have the night off and they probably got drunk, now they have to report. That's why it's funny.
And one of the things that we really noticed on the way out, Trey.
And it's okay to laugh because we already know that, no matter how scary it was, everyone is okay. Everyone is safe. So I think only one of the shooters have been boom boomed, but not really. You guys know what I mean. So that's why I'm laughing. Plus, guys, I'm Iranian. I have dark humor. Get used to my dark humor.
System around the country, you always go through a stadium. Everybody recognizes stadiums and arenas. You always go through, give your tickets, and then you go through the magnetometers to make sure that you are clear. In this case, the magnetometers, as you can see behind me, behind that blue wall, they were inside the building. So it is our understanding that we believe that this alleged shooter was inside the building at the time by the magnetometers. So that is a concern about, the staging of exactly where the security system and the apparatus.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. I'm literally just doom watching. I was gonna watch this on my own, but some people were live stream. So yeah,
4 tables. As we look at the room, she was 4 tables to the right of us, and we were right next to the aisle where it leads to the front, to the stage. So as you come down the main entryway to the area where the president and the White House Correspondents' Group was up there, and the vice president, so on and so forth. That is the main area. So when we were there, we were sitting there, and Lawrence Jones was to my right, and he jumped under the table first.
Only the shooter.
I heard something. I heard some popping, and I was talking to Emily Campagno, who said that she thought that it sounded like somebody, or a waiter or somebody, dropped some dishes, dropped some plates, and she didn't know what it was. We didn't know what we heard. Now, did we hear gunshots? No, we're not saying that. We heard something.
Oh, an agent got shot?
After that, we knew something was clearly wrong, because everybody, the Secret
he's
Service
alive,
agents
though, right?
were
I think he's alive.
running through tables saying, "Get down, get down,
Oh,
get down,
man.
get under the tables."
Guys,
And
pray for the
everybody
Secret
was
Service
jumping under
agent,
the
everyone.
tables,
Oh my
and
God.
you're helping people because everybody, there's some older people in this building.
Oh, his
and
vest.
everybody
Okay.
sometimes
Thank
needed
God
help.
for
So
that.
you're helping people get under the
Wow.
tables. You're making sure everybody is safe, and then you have Secret Service agents walking around saying, "Get down, stay down, stay down." We didn't know.
That
We didn't
confirmed?
know, was there somebody that was a threat inside the actual auditorium, and that was never clear. That was never the case. So we were told afterwards, never happened.
Guys.
The person of interest, the suspect, never got into the actual auditorium. But the interesting part of
Okay, wait,
all
let
of
me
this
pause this for a
is
moment.
exactly where this.
Guys, okay, everyone put a W in the chat for Who Dat Nation Gal, one of our viewers on Rumble, because she just sent me this link, and it's got images of the shooter. Look at this, guys. Breaking news before Fox News. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. So, oh my gosh, look at this guy. Look at this guy. Look at that. Whoa. Whoa, look at that. Guys, this is breaking news. You're seeing it here before you see it on Fox News. Is that like aluminum on him or something? What is that, aluminum foil? What is that, like a ponytail, man bun? What's going on there? Is that his hair? What is that? That's so weird. I don't know. They probably stripped him. So he's probably naked because they probably stripped him to, like, you know, they took his clothes off probably to make sure he's not hiding any like weapons or guns or something. I mean, that's what I would assume. I don't know if that's true or not. I've never been in that situation, guys. Don't quote me. We're totally, like, I'm totally out of my element here. So this is no longer geopolitics. So if I say something or if I give an opinion, literally just an opinion. Like, I don't know if this is what's happening, right? But I would assume that they probably stripped him to make sure that, like, he doesn't have any, like, you know, guns or boom booms or whatever on him, right? So they stripped him and then you know, put like a aluminum foil blanket on him or something. So that's what I'm assuming is going on here. Yeah, we need that ballroom for sure, 100%. Yeah, there you go. That's my geopolitical analysis of why he's naked.
A threat.
It is stunning, and you know, you look at that room.
The reporters are in their ball gowns. Look at that one. She's like, they're all in their like ball gowns
as much as they
like,
can, trying to figure out this story as it's unfolding. And is everybody safe? And where are the cabinet members? We watched cabinet members and congressmen get ushered out of the room. Mark Wayne Mullen, the new director of Homeland Security, was right near us. I think he was with Brett at Brett's table, and I think Brett probably just spoke about that. But you know, the president wanted to carry on, and now he is about to speak at the White House. So we're waiting for that to happen. They're just making another announcement here
Look
as
at
we
this,
speak.
guys.
So I'm trying to listen to what that is. Yeah.
Trying to get everybody to leave the building because they want to continue the investigation.
Okay, guys. So, Jennifer Pittman, who's watching on X, with another win. So another J for Jennifer. So, Secret Service has confirmed that everyone is okay. So, we will provide updates as they become available and confirm info. Our teams are on the ground assessing the situation, investigating. All of our protectees are safe. The U.S. Secret Service, in coordination with the Metropolitan Police Department, is investigating a shooting incident near the main magnetometer screening area at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. The president and the first lady are safe along all protectees. One individual is in custody. The condition of those involved is not yet known, and law enforcement is actively assessing the situation. There we go.
A distance. They were behind barricades outside of the Hilton here as people walked in. Not that unusual in today's world, but I think it's worth noting. And that was one of my first thoughts when I could.
Yeah, guys, we saw the shooter. This is the shooter.
Maybe it was protesters.
We broke it on the Goldie Show. We broke it on the Goldie Show before it went on Fox News. So this is the shooter. Here he is. There we go.
Just imagine, because when you hear the Secret Service and you hear all of a sudden what you think anything could be gunshots, right? You're in a banquet, and every time somebody drops a coffee cup in a thing, every time somebody makes a glass and cheers, right? Everything you hear can, in your mind.
Yeah, guys, this is the Goldie Show. This is what I used to do before Iran Revolution Live. So, and then sometimes when I do documentary watch parties, I mean, I didn't know what to call my podcast, so I just kind of called it the Goldie Show. If anyone has like a better name, let me know, because I just call it the Goldie Show. I don't know what else to call it. Really? Was I the first to break this? Because I just saw what happened on X, and then I just went online. I just went online to watch it, and then I figured I might as well live stream and we can all just like watch it together.
Oh, I don't know what happened.
I'm glad you guys are all here. We can watch it together. Cause I'm not like I'm like a geopolitical analyst, political commentator.
This, I heard that. So to get a clear picture of what is actually happening or what actually happened inside the auditorium right now is very difficult. And you can see that the Secret Service and the people who are here are doing yeoman's work trying to get a handle on this. They stopped, whoever this was, they stopped this person from doing any major damage inside this auditorium.
Oh, look at this, guys! I have another video for you.
Trace and Martha.
The video that you see on the top is they did escort a man out, and you know it's hard to. I'm not.
Wow, guys. Okay, look at this. So this one comes from Milo. Guys, one of our viewers, Milo, sent this video. Yeah, you guys know the drill. Put an M in the chat for Milo. Look at this, guys. Look at this.
Silver foil. Floor, got it? No. Switch over to like right silver foil, top of the stairs.
Wait, was it Milo or was it Puria? Puria, I'll get to your post next. Sorry, there's the chat's going really quick. I'm sorry, guys. No one's spamming M. Guys, people are putting M in the chat as a Milo appreciation because one of our viewers, Milo, sent this link. So whenever someone, you know, sends you know, something informative, I just, you know, I like to appreciate them. So it's not a spam. We're just appreciating Milo sending this link. Now we have another link from I think it was Puria. Where's Puria? I know I have to read the chat. There's so much happening here. Okay, Puria, you're saying go look at Laura Loomer. Okay, let me go look at Laura Loomer. Before I do that, let me just share this other link. Sorry, guys. Everyone is sending links. I'm trying my best, but, you know, it's just me. So, okay, guys, everyone put a V in the chat for Vince because Vince sent this one to me. So we're like, oh my God.
Katie, do you have all your stuff?
I'm fine.
Why would you be filming in this situation? I mean, sure, good footage, but you know what? They're reporters. They couldn't help themselves.
Go to your right. Go to your right.
Okay, guys. So, guys, everyone put a P in the chat for Puria because this is what Laura Loomer is now reporting. So, Laura Loomer is claiming scoop attempted assassin Cole Thomas Allen, a 31-year-old male from California, is a registered Democrat. He is now in custody. Cole Thomas Allen turned 31 2 weeks ago. His birthday is, I guess, April 11, 1995. So that's what Laura Loomer is saying. And then Scoop, the man who just tried to assassinate President Trump, is a teacher in California, in addition to being a registered Democrat. Additionally, the attempted assassin appears to have been rewarded a Teacher of the Month award in December of 2024. And he's not going to stay at the White House press conference correspondence dinner. Wow.
Briefing room there. Usually what will happen is you look to the left side of your screen there, and obviously the president usually will be preceded by the press secretary and others. We anticipate that there could be a cabinet member or two, Alicia, that could also speak tonight, perhaps even the FBI director, Kash Patel. Again, we're sort of guessing who might come out and speak, but it would seem to make the most sense, obviously, to come out and first let everyone know exactly what happened, what we know about the shooter, and where we go from here as we await the president, Alicia.
Exactly, Kevin. And, you know, earlier tonight when there were reports that the president of the United States said that basically the show was going to go on, he still wanted to continue it this evening.
Okay, another video. This is on Nick Sortor's X account, and Bijan sent this to me. So guys, you know the drill. Please put a B in the chat. And let's watch this really quick, and then we'll go back to the live news feed.
There's the president being escorted. The president being escorted out one side. The vice president being escorted.
Wow. JD Vance goes this way, and then President Trump goes the other way. Look at that. They're just dragging him. Wow. look at that. So at first JD Vance is like, what the heck is going on? Like, why is this person dragging me, right? But obviously, like, they've been trained to do that, right? So God bless the Secret Service for doing that, right? But just look at that, right? Like, this is literally what they're trained to do. And then, and at first JD Vance is like, wait, what's going on? And, he's just resisting because it's natural, right? And then he's like, oh shit, something's happening. So he goes one way, President Trump goes the other. And that's protocol, right? Like, they go their own separate ways, and then they just, and it's for safety reasons. And President Trump goes the other way. Wow.
There's the president being escorted. The president being escorted out one side. The vice president being.
Yeah, I mean, Tusi's probably sleeping because it's pretty late where he is. I'm sure.
You can imagine these administration officials, the president himself and the vice president, they have a long history of experiencing these types of security events. And it is just a reminder of how dangerous moments can be. But when you look at the security perimeter that was around this area, it was not just the Secret Service, but the local police, a variety of different law enforcement agencies. And there were a number of checks to get into the Washington Hilton, along with those metal detectors where we understand this security incident took place. I think back to inside the ballroom as this.
And guys, I'm seeing the links of the images of the shooter going around. Let's just hold off. Let's just hold off on that. I'd rather wait. Like, you guys can share the link amongst yourselves, right? You guys share the link amongst yourselves, go nuts, whatever. You can share it in the chat, talk, amongst one another. But I'm going to wait for an actual verified news source before I share any images, because we just don't want the wrong person accidentally. to be there, right? So that's the only reason. But you guys continue sharing. You guys go nuts. Go nuts.
As the security
guys, like I said, like I'm not news. I'm doom watching. I would be watching this on my own anyway. So I just figured we would watch it together. So yeah, that's why I'm here. President Trump posted a video. Oh, okay. Oh, wow. What did President Trump post? Wait. What did President Trump post? Let's see. Oh my God. Okay, so that unverified image. Is President Trump speaking now? Is President Trump speaking right now? Because I'm looking at Fox News and I don't see him.
Around the world. Scholarships were supposed to be given out to journalism students here in Washington, in the nation's capital. And again, this turned into a very somber moment, and a senior White House official telling Fox News that there is a resilient vibe within the administration right now.
Incredibly acted upon by Secret Service and law enforcement. And this was an event dedicated to freedom of speech that was supposed to bring together members of both parties with members of the press. And in a certain way it did, because the fact that they just unified, I saw a room that was just totally unified. It was in one way very beautiful, a very beautiful thing to see. A man charged a security checkpoint armed with multiple weapons, and he was taken down by some very brave members of Secret Service, and they acted very quickly and have just released, for purposes of transparency, clarity, I've ordered it to be put out. You probably have it by now, put out on Truth and put out on many of the platforms. A tape showing the violence of this thug that attacked our Constitution, and also showing how quickly Secret Service and law enforcement acted on our country's behalf. Really did a great job. One officer was shot, but saved by the fact that he was wearing obviously a very good bulletproof vest. He was shot from very close distance with a very powerful gun, and the vest did the job. I just spoke to the officer, and he's doing great. He's great shape. He is has very high spirits, and we told him we love him and respect him. And he's a very proud guy. He's very proud of what he does, Secret Service agent. And we looked at all of the conditions that took place tonight. And I will say, you know, it's not a particularly secure building. And I didn't want to say this, but this is why we have to have all of the attributes of what we're planning at the White House. It's actually a larger room, and it's much more secure. It's drone proof, it's bulletproof glass. We need the ballroom. That's why Secret Service, that's why the military are demanding it. They've wanted the ballroom for 150 years for lots of different reasons, but today's a little bit different, because today we need levels of security that probably nobody's ever seen before. But everyone owes a tremendous debt of gratitude to the courage of law enforcement, the law enforcement, and working with the D.C. police. And we just spoke with the mayor. And when we're finished, the police chief is going to take over and discuss it also from their viewpoint. But they also performed exactly as they were supposed to. And you see the attacker in different positions, but you also see the attacker totally subdued and under control. So as you know, this is not the first time in the past couple of years that our republic has been attacked by a would-be assassin who sought to kill. In Butler, Pennsylvania, less than 2 years ago, you all know that story. And in Palm Beach, Florida, a few months after that, we came close. We really had, again, We had some great work done by law enforcement. But in light of this evening's events, I ask that all Americans recommit with their hearts in resolving our difference peacefully. We have to resolve our differences. I will say, you had Republicans, Democrats, independents, conservatives, liberals, and progressives. Those words are interchangeable, perhaps, but maybe they're not. But yet everybody in that room, big crowd, record-setting crowd. There was a record-setting group of people, and there was a tremendous amount of love and coming together. I watched, and I was very, very impressed by that. But First Lady and I were taken very well care of, very quickly rushed off the stage. Vice President J.D. Vance, who's here, was likewise beautifully done. He was just saying how quickly everybody acted, law enforcement, Secret Service in particular in this case, but law enforcement. Marco had the same thing. Pete was there. Pete didn't want any help. He didn't want anybody to help him. He doesn't want anybody to help him, but he did get some, didn't you? And I think you also said that it was very impressive. So with that, I'd like to ask Todd Blanche to come up, say a few words, and tell you it's already underway. The man has been captured. They're going to his apartment. I guess he lives in California, and he's a sick person, a very sick person. And we don't want things like this to happen. I think it's very important that I say, though, and I told the representatives of the evening, they did such a beautiful job. It was such a beautiful evening. And again, they're talking about free speech in our Constitution. That's what it's all about, not just White House correspondence. It was really based on free speech in our Constitution. But I said very importantly that we'll do it again within the next 30 days, and we'll make it bigger and better and even nicer. So I just want to thank everybody that was involved. I also want to thank the press, the media. You've been very responsible in your coverage. I will say I've been seeing what's been out, and you've been very responsible. So Todd Blanche, I'd like to say a few words, and then we're going to have cash. And then you're going to go on. We can ask, I guess we can take a couple of questions. I want to thank the First Lady that was a rather traumatic experience for her. There was a lot of action taking place up there very quickly. But again, the response time was really incredible. And we're going to reschedule. We're going to do it again. We're not going to let anybody take over our society. We're not going to cancel things out because we can't do that. We wanted to stay tonight. I will tell you, I fought like hell to stay. But it was protocol. They said, please, sir, because they didn't know there was a lot of action going on, and they didn't know could there be probably a lone shooter, but we'll find out. We'll find out very quickly. They have it very well under control. So I want to thank everybody very much. And Todd Blanche, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Tonight you saw the very worst and the very best of this country. You saw the very worst by the actions of that coward that the president just talked about. But you also saw the very best because you saw law enforcement do exactly what they're supposed to do. And you'll see the videos come out, I expect, very shortly, and you'll see law enforcement do exactly what we want them to do. And so I echo what President Trump just said, that we are extraordinarily grateful and appreciative of the men and women of law enforcement that did their jobs tonight, including one who was injured. This investigation is ongoing. I expect you will see charges filed shortly. The charges should be self-evident given the conduct, but as you'll hear, there will be multiple charges surrounding the shooting, around the possession of firearms, and anything else that we can get on this guy. The investigation is obviously ongoing and just started. There is federal law enforcement already working on search warrants and doing their job, and I don't want to get ahead of them and don't want to get ahead of the work that they're doing even as we speak. Director Patel and I were just on the crime scene a short while ago, and everybody in this room should rest assured that the Metropolitan Police Department, the FBI, Secret Service, everybody's on the scene doing their job. I know that the police chief is going to give an update from the scene as soon as we're finished here, and I obviously will lead the details of what they have learned to him. But in the meantime, I just want to thank everybody in this room for the courage. I want to thank President Trump for his words, and I promise you, justice will be served. Thank you. Dr. Patel.
Thank you, General. Thank you, Mr. President. The president's absolutely right. You saw the best resolve of American law enforcement because you, Mr. President, inspire them 24/7, 365. You give them the resources that they need, and they know that you have their back. And that is a changing dynamic in this country. And that's why you saw brave Secret Service agents respond immediately, swiftly, subdue and take down the suspect and safeguard the lives of thousands of individuals at that hotel. Thanks to our interagency partnership with the Department of Homeland Security and the Metropolitan Police Department, the FBI was rapidly deployed onto the scene, took over the evidence response unit, is examining all the ballistics that were found on scene to include the long gun and the shell casings. We are conducting witness interviews as we speak. You will hear from our team on the scene there with the mayor and the head of the FBI field division there. But please note what the Attorney General has just said rings no truer. You saw the very best of America tonight. The very best unite us at a time of uncertainty, because we have leadership here with the president, the vice president that backs law enforcement, and the men and women that I shook their hands on the scene today could not have been prouder to show up on scene. And as the Attorney General said, make no mistake, we are conducting witness interviews. If you have any information whatsoever related to this event, 1-800-CALL-FBI, 1-800-CALL-FBI. No piece of information is too small. No piece of information is inadequate. We will evaluate it all. We will also be conducting interviews of those that were there. And if any of those individuals have information, please come forward to law enforcement or the FBI or the Metropolitan Police Department. We will be examining this individual's background thoroughly. That process has already started, and we are going to ensure that he was either a lone wolf actor or anyone else that was responsible. We will analyze all evidence immediately to make sure that we safeguard this country. Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, thank you for your leadership. Attorney General and Homeland Secretary Merlin, thank you for your partnership in law enforcement.
Thank you. Okay, we'll do a couple and then we go to the chair. Madam Chairman, I just want to say you did a fantastic job. What a beautiful evening, and we're going to reschedule.
Aww.
After that, it's very tough for her to ask a killer question, right? But you have done a fantastic job. Please.
Mr. President, I appreciate it. As you mentioned, it all happened so quickly. Yeah. And I wonder, especially because unfortunately you have experience with these sorts of threats, in that moment when you realized there was a threat
was sitting
and
beside
service
him.
agents were telling us to get down, can you describe what was going through your mind, how you were feeling in that moment?
That's a very good question, actually. It's always shocking when something like this happens. Happened to me a little bit, and that never changes. The fact we're sitting right next to each other, First Lady on my right, and I heard a noise and sort of thought it was a tray. I thought it was a tray going down. I've heard that many times, and it was a pretty loud noise. And it was from quite far away. He hadn't breached the area at all. They really got him. But so it was quite far away, but it was a gun. And some people really understood that pretty quickly. Other people didn't. I was watching to see what was happening. Probably should have gone down even faster. Melania was very cognizant, I think, of what happened. I think she knew immediately what happened. She was saying, that's a bad noise. And we were whisked away along with other people, but we were really whisked away. And again, the performance of the Secret Service and the police, all of the law enforcement, I thought was really good. So it was very quick. There wasn't a lot of time to be thinking because it was a matter of seconds before we were out the door and gone into an area. We very much, and you wanted to too, we very much wanted to continue it because I don't like to let these sick people, these thugs, these horrible, horrible people change the fabric of our life, change the course of what we do. So we held out. You were there. We held out right till the end, but they didn't want to take a chance, and I understand there was protocol. But we're going to be doing one hopefully within the next 30 days or sooner, and I am ready, willing, and able. And I was all set to really rip it. And I said to my people, this would be the most inappropriate speech ever made if I said, so I'll have to save it. I don't know if I could ever be as rough as I was going to be tonight. I think I'm going to be probably very nice. I'll be very boring the next time, but we're going to have a great event. And you did a fantastic job. Thank you very much. Peter, go ahead.
Thank you, President Trump. There's a report in the New York Post that this assailant assembled his weapon somewhere on site at the hotel. What do you think about that? And I ask respectfully, why do you think this keeps happening to you?
Well, you know, I've studied assassinations.
It's because
and
the media
I must tell you, the
dehumanizes
most
them.
impactful people, the people that do the most, you take a look at the people, Abraham Lincoln. I mean, you go through the people that have gone through this where they got them.
Happening to you?
Well, you know, I've studied assassinations.
Oh, wait, what?
And I must tell you, the most impactful people, the people that do the most, you take a look at the people, Abraham Lincoln. I mean, you go through the people that have gone through this where they got them. But the people that do the most, the people that make the biggest impact, they're the ones that they go after. They don't go after the ones that don't do much because
Yeah, it was
they
a
like
deja
it that
vu.
way.
Glitch in the matrix.
And when you look at the people that have either, whether it was an attempt or a successful attempt, they're very impactful people. Just take a look at the names there, the big names. And I hate to say I'm honored by that, but I've done a lot. We've done a lot. We've taken this country, and we were a laughing stock for years, and now we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. We've changed this country.
Yeah, I saw that, dude. That was weird.
And
that was a weird
there are a lot of
clip.
people that are not happy about that.
No, I didn't
So I think
rewind
that's the
it.
answer,
This was live.
Peter.
And after
This was
Butler,
live TV.
your team for a while rethought outdoor events.
Glitch in the
Do you think
matrix,
that you now
guys.
need to rethink
No,
indoor?
well, but then you just don't do events. No, I can't do that. I have to. It is what it is. We have to do it. The room was very, very secure. You know, he charged from 50 yards away, so he was very far away from the room.
And what did you think when you saw the video of how fast he was running?
He was moving. He was really moving, and
Well,
the
look at
reaction
that
time was
video.
great. Boy, those guys, they had their guns drawn. Literally, by the time he was there, they were shooting.
That's right.
I thought they were very impressive. And if I didn't, I'd let you know. You know, I'm not going to be. I would not stand for that. No, I thought they were very impressive.
Thank you, President Trump, and thank
Bye.
you for updating us on the
Thank you.
suspect earlier. Were you aware of any threats? Was your team aware of any threats beforehand? And do you believe you were the target of this tonight?
I guess. I mean, these people they're crazy. They're crazy. And, you know, you never know. He was very far away from me. He had to go through a lot. We had resources all over. We had resources sitting at tables, literally in disguise, sitting maybe at your table. Who knows? But we had people all over the room. So he had a long way to go. That was really a first line of defense, and they got him. And they really, you know, they acted incredibly. No, there was no notification. We had no idea. Go ahead,
Do you know
Kevin.
any political motivations from this?
Well, you never know. Now, we'll be able to tell you that maybe by tomorrow or the next day. You know, he's in custody, and they're asking him a lot of questions. I guess they're going over, Todd, and they're already at his apartment. He lives in California.
Yes, sir.
And they're over there, so they'll be able to tell you. Thank you, Caitlin.
President Trump, did the suspect say anything, or was he wearing anything that would allege some type of motive here?
No, I mean, he was a guy who looked pretty evil when he was down. You know, they had him down. He was fighting hard. He was in my opinion, a sick person. Who would do that but a sick person? But I think you're going to find everything about him. No reason to talk about it now. But tomorrow at this time, long before this time, you're going to know a lot of things about him. They seem to think he was a lone wolf, and I feel that too.
Are you concerned about U.S. Secret Service protection ability? We saw several of the detailees take minutes to be escorted out of the room.
No, they acted very quickly. No, I was very impressed by Secret Service. I mean, I'm the one, and Mark Wayne, you would agree with that, I think.
Absolutely.
I'm the one that would complain. You don't have to complain for me. I would be complaining. I'd be up here right now saying they didn't do their job. Oh, believe me, because, you know, it's my life. And I want to live because I want to make this country great. That's why I want to live. But when you're impactful, they go after you. When you're not impactful, they leave you alone. Okay, a couple of more.
Terrible.
Is there any indication that this shooting could have been linked to the
war in Iran?
I don't think so, but you never know. We're going to know a lot. We have the best people in the world working on it, and we're going to know a lot. Please.
Mr. President, there's a lot. There's you, as well as some of us who have covered Butler, experienced another horrific day 2 years ago.
Yeah.
What felt similar? You know, you had the First Lady with you today. What felt different? And you have another 2+ years in office. Are you concerned about something like this happening?
Well, I can't be concerned. I can only get great people. They did the job, in my opinion, a much better job than Butler. Butler had one weak spot that we all know about. Somebody should have been up there. But even Butler, we had our sniper on our side within 4.2 seconds from a distance of about 400 yards, one shot, and he was gone. And if he didn't do it now, you know, he's David. His name was David. I say, hello, David, every time I see him. David, I like you very much, David. But think of that. Now, if he doesn't hit him, and he hit him right between the eyes from 400 yards without any notice, nobody knew. He heard a sound. He looked over, and there was actually a tree that was somewhat in his way. You know the story very well. And he aimed, he fired. And if he didn't do that, beyond me, you would have had a lot more people killed. We lost one great person and 2 people very badly hurt. They're okay now. But no, that was so. In a sense, you know, that was pretty amazing the job they did. But they did have that one weak spot, as you know. They should have had that covered. Tonight they had everything covered very quickly, and he was fast. He was running full blast, and they got him before they got any further. I was very far away. You know, he hadn't anywhere close to breach the doors of the ballroom. The ballroom was sealed, and everybody in there. That's why once those doors opened, they didn't want to do tonight. If the doors weren't opened, we could have probably done it tonight, but I think we're much better off rescheduling. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, for you and perhaps law enforcement as well, what is the level of confidence that this was a lone actor, and has the suspect made any statements to police while in custody?
Yeah, I think it's just it's not my profession. We have great professionals up here and outside that have been working with us. My impression is he was a lone wolf, whack job. These are crazy people. These are crazy people, and they have to be dealt with. We had that in the second attempt, as you know, and he's spending life in prison. Because if you let him out, they'll probably, you know, if he serves 10 years or 15 years, you let him out, he'll probably try it again with somebody else. They're sick people. We have a lot of sick people. But you're going to know, I think very shortly, you're going to know, Todd, a lot about him. You're going to know a lot about him. Yeah, a couple of more. Yeah, please, go ahead.
Are you concerned about political violence? This could be politically motivated.
All violence. I'm concerned about everything. Look, but I can't be so concerned that you can't function. No, I'm here. It's a dangerous profession. You know, I tell the story, race car drivers, I think it's very dangerous. So if you take 1% and then take about 10% of 1%, just to break it down very easily, they die. So much less than 1%, 10% of 1%. I think bull riding is very dangerous. If you take about the same 10% of 1%, much less than 1%. But if you take presidents, it's 5.8%. And about 8% are shot at. So nobody told me this was such a dangerous profession. If Marco would have told me, maybe I wouldn't have run. Maybe I would have said, I'll take a pass. No, it's a dangerous profession, but I don't view it that way. Look, I'm here to do a job. As part of the job, it is a dangerous. I can't imagine that there's any profession that's more dangerous. But I love the country, and I'm very proud. I'm very proud of the job we've done. You see what's happened. We have a great country. We've got, I think, the most successful, the hottest country anywhere in the world. This happened over a period of just a year, and we're going to do great things. But with that come risks. There's no question about it. Yeah.
To that end, I mean, there's been so much political violence, not just aimed at yourself, but at other members of Congress, state house speakers, you name it. Is that just the cost of doing business to do politics in America anymore?
Yeah, well,
what does that say about our country?
We're not the only country. You look at this great violence with all countries. I was talking to somebody from another country today, and they have numerous assassinations of political figures all over the world. You look at South America, it's like some of the numbers are just horrific. It's dangerous stuff, whether it's here or someplace else. No country is immune. No country. Good question.
Will turn that temperature down at this point?
Well, probably if I decided to just not do much, if I let everybody rip us off and take advantage of us. Look, we're leading the world in trade now. We're leading the world in the military. We're the greatest military in the world. I rebuilt it in my first term, and now we use it because we have no choice. We can't let, as an example, Iran, we can't let them get a nuclear weapon. Everything will be peanuts compared to that if they ever were given a nuclear weapon, and they'd use it too. Marco and I were talking about it today. They would use it without even hesitation. We can't do that. It was a shame. I said, oh boy, look at the numbers. We just broke 50,000 in the Dow. We just broke 7,000 in the S&P. They said we couldn't do it in 7 years, in 5 years, 4 years. They were saying maybe in 5 or 6 years. And we did it in 1 year. And I called everybody together. I called all of these people and others, and I said, we have to take a little journey. I seek to do this. We just had the great number. We just broke 50,000. Wasn't supposed to happen during my term. Wasn't reachable. Did it in 1 year. And I said, we're going to have to make a journey to Iran. They're going to have a nuclear weapon if we don't do it. We had the B-2 bombers take them out. I terminated in the first term the Obama agreement, the Iran nuclear agreement, which was a disaster. That was a road to a nuclear weapon. They would have used it. They would have used it 100%. So, when you do things like that, you become a target. If I wasn't doing that, I guess I'd be a lot less of a target. But I'm honored to be. Okay, one more question. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, President Trump. Thank you, President Trump. Do you know how the gun was brought into the hotel? And also, how does this event impact you as the leader of our country? Do you think it will change your
I like not to think about it. I lead a pretty normal life, considering it's a dangerous life. I think I handle it as well as it can be handled. I think a lot of other people, you read stories where they become basket cases. To be honest with you, I'm not a basket case. I really take it as it is. I do it for the country. I'm not doing it for any other reason. I have a first lady who's doing a terrific job. She loves the country, and she recognizes it better than anybody. She's told me numerous times. She said, you are in a dangerous job. But that goes along with her, too. I mean, it's dangerous for her, too. We sat there tonight. We heard that noise, and it was either a tray or a bullet. I was hoping it was a tray, but it wasn't. And again, we had some very brave people doing a great job, so we're very proud of them and happy with them. I just want to thank everybody. They will be able to give you all that information as to the names and everything else. I think we released the names already. Most of you would have it, but his name. We appreciate it. I see so many tuxedos and beautiful dresses. It was a little different evening than we thought, but we're going to do it again, and we have a great chairman who we're so proud of, and we have to make it better. We'll make it safer, I guess, right? But we're going to make it even better. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
About how impactful this was. Can we hear from her about?
Well, honey, would you want to say something?
Okay.
Many of the people across the globe, in fact, are watching you. You demonstrated courageous leadership, and thank God you're alive. All of us are alive today. What is the message that you want to give to the world that this should change? What corrective measures can we take from here on?
Well, all you can do, look, I don't care how many people you have, how good they are. They can be the greatest people. You have the greatest security in history. If you have a whack job who's got a brain, but it's a little bit distorted or a lot distorted, they can make trouble. I would say, Pete, right? They can make trouble. Some of these people are of genius level IQ, and they're nuts. So it can be trouble. So you do absolutely the best. You get the best. We have the best people. Well, look, it was proven tonight. He started running from 50 yards, and he was fast. He was like a blur on tape. He was moving. It was very impressive the way they got him. Because a lot of people would be looking and saying, it's like a weird feeling, and they would let him get through, but they didn't let him get through. They drew those guns so fast. They looked like Matt Dillon. They looked like somebody that knew what they were doing, and we really do. But it comes with the territory. And if you want to do a great job, I really believe that. And you take a look at what's happened to some of our greatest presidents, and it doesn't happen to people that don't do anything. And it's not going to deter me from winning the war in Iran. I don't know if that had anything to do with it. I really don't think so, based on what we know. But we're going to continue to do a great job. That's all I can do. Thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you.
You've been listening to the President of the United States.
Wow. Okay, guys. So, for those who are, tuning in, who haven't watched before, guys, so there's a reason that I'm giggling. It's because, the Iran Revolution live gang, they're all here, and they're making all these inside jokes, like the Hussein comment. And that's why I'm giggling. I'm giggling because of, the Iran stuff. And you guys are terrible in the chat. Don't make me play the Hussein video, because then we'll traumatize all the new people. Anyways, here's the video. Here's the video, guys. Look at that.
Gunman not only got right through.
Let me get the actual video here. I think President Trump posted it on his Truth Social. Yeah, so here we go, guys. Look at this. We'll go back to Fox News in a moment, but yeah, put my flag on so everyone knows I've said. No, guys, this is the Goldie Show. This is an Iran Revolution live. Oh my gosh. But all the inside jokes, guys, don't make me play the Hussein video. I will, because then that'll traumatize everyone. Okay, here's the video that President Trump is talking about that they're playing on Fox News. Okay, so President Trump posted this on his Truth Social. Like, this is crazy. Look at this.
It looked like he checked it twice.
Lieutenant Hudson, you monitoring this area?
Oh, shit. Do you see how fast he just went through?
Shall I post it as soon as he passed down there?
18, go for
Look at that. Look how fast he comes through. So, guys, he starts here, okay? He literally just, comes here and he just, he just runs through. Look at this. So, it's around the, where is he? Right? So there you go. So you can see the little black dot there or whatever. And then he just he speeds through. It's crazy. Look at this. It's like he had training and he knew exactly where to go. And then, but of course, thank God Secret Service got him, right?
Shall I post it as soon as he passed?
And then that's when the shooting happened. So that's the first video that President Trump posted. Insane. And then look at this. This is the guy. This is the guy. This is the insane jihadi. Sorry. Oh my gosh, not jihadi. Oh my gosh, guys. Sorry. I meant. Sorry. No, he's not a jihadi. That was a misspeak. Just muscle memory. Just because I'm used to covering the Iran Revolution, right? So no, he's not an insane jihadi. He's a leftist. He's not a jihadi. Sorry, guys. I mean, he could be. We don't know. But guys, for my regular viewers, it's because I usually focus on Iran and Islamic terrorism, right? So, but this is the leftist freak. I don't know if he's Durka. No, he's Durka not confirmed. Durka not confirmed. Wow. Wow, this is him. Wow, 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 wow. Oh, look. Okay, Fox News is now sharing it.
Sort of crash when they heard what may have been the shots being fired. The president said at first he thought it was a tray. There was something far away. He wasn't exactly sure. But this is just incredible, Kevin. This picture of this suspect, the face here. Again, we're not releasing a name at this time. The president has said he's from California. He's in custody right now. This investigation is in the very early stages right now. And the FBI Director Kash Patel, also said tonight we saw the very best of the Secret Service. The law enforcement, he said, also knows that the president has their back. Kevin.
Such an important comment.
Okay, so now that we know that this is what this dude looks like, I'm going to share the post that one of our viewers, Eli, sent to me a little while ago. This is before it was like verified or confirmed. So where is it? I just had it here. Where did I put it? What? I just had it. Where'd it go? And sorry, give me a moment here. Let me go back and find it again. I thought I had it. Where's this post? Eli gave me this link. Where is the link, Eli? Oh my gosh, you want to see what Morad Basi has to say about this? That's not gonna happen. That's not how this works. Okay, guys, so this is. Let me just move this here. Okay. So this is apparently the shooter. This is the link that Eli sent me. So apparently, I mean, unconfirmed, but I mean, it kind of does look like him, right? It kind of does look like him. So apparently he was a teacher of the month or something in California. So yeah, he was teacher of the month in December 2024. Yeah. Yeah. This is the weirdo. This is the weirdo. Okay, let's go back. Oh, wait. Sorry, guys.
President returned safely to the White House, as you know. We are so very thankful to members of law enforcement who did their jobs tonight and made sure that all guests were safe. We have no reason to believe at this time that anyone else was involved. I want to turn to the Chief of the Metropolitan Police Department, Chief Carroll, to provide a law enforcement update and specifics.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Again, I'm Jeff Carroll, Interim Chief of Police for the Metropolitan Police Department. This afternoon, this evening, members of the United States Secret Service and the Metropolitan Police Department were here at the Washington Hotel for a site detail for the Correspondent Center. As the mayor mentioned, at approximately 8:36 tonight, an individual charged a U.S. Secret Service checkpoint here in the lobby area of the hotel. He was armed with a shotgun, a handgun, and multiple knives. As he ran through that checkpoint, members of law enforcement from the United States Secret Service intercepted that individual. This is a very preliminary investigation at this point. We do know that law enforcement exchanged gunfire with the individual. We do know that a U.S. Secret Service uniformed division officer was struck in his vest. He was transported to a local hospital for treatment. He seems to be in good spirits at this time. The suspect in this case, he was not struck by gunfire. However, he was transported to a local hospital to be evaluated. Again, we're very early in the investigation. We have members of the United States Secret Service, the Metropolitan Police Department, and the FBI here to continue to investigate this matter. But at this point, it does appear he is a lone actor, a lone gunman. There does not appear to be any sort of danger to the public at this time. However, we are continuing to investigate this matter. At this point, I will turn it over to, I believe, the FBI.
Hi, good evening. I'm Darren Cox, the Assistant Director in charge of the FBI's Washington Field Office. The American public should be proud of the quick response and heroic actions from law enforcement officers tonight to keep the American public safe. Their actions are absolutely heroic. The public should also rest assured that there will be no stone unturned during this investigation. The FBI currently has our Joint Terrorism Task Force here on scene, along with our criminal division, our crisis response team, and agents from across the country are working on any leads that may come in this investigation. Anyone with tips in this investigation should call 1-800-CALL-FBI. Thank you.
Director Kern.
Thank you. My name is Sean Kern, I'm the Director of the Secret Service. Tonight, we saw exactly what our brave men and women do each and every day to protect our protectees. It's not easy, and I will tell you that they performed admirably. We got to see what they do, and that individual in charge of checkpoint was apprehended. It shows that our multi-layered protection works, and I'm grateful to our partners that help assist us with building these sites and protecting these sites. Very fortunate that this officer is alive, is being observed, and I'm grateful that the President reached out to this officer and spoke with him earlier. I ask everybody to pray for him and all of our officers and agents that were involved. And I will tell you, we will continue with the mission. Thank you.
Thank you. Judge Shapiro.
I'm Janine Pirro. I'm the United States Attorney. Right now, the defendant is being charged with 2 counts, 924C, using a firearm during a crime of violence, and a second crime under 111, which is assault on a federal officer using a dangerous weapon. Now, as you all know, there was an individual, a uniformed Secret Service officer, who was shot, and fortunately, he is doing all right, and he will be fine. But it is clear, based upon what we know so far, that this individual was intent on doing as much harm and as much damage as he could. And thankfully, because of the checkpoint right outside the ballroom, where thousands of people were situated to hear the President of the United States, because that checkpoint worked, there was no one who was injured when it was clear where this defendant was going. Now, I want to make one comment. As a participant, someone who was in the ballroom, who came this evening to be part of a very lovely event at the White House Correspondent Dinner, I, for the first time, was in a situation where there were shots fired, shots heard, and a whole room went silent. When I lifted my head and when I looked up, every law enforcement officer was out there as we all had our heads down, thousands of them. These are the men and women every day who do what they do silently, and they do it with courage and with dignity. Thank God for our partners, the FBI, the Secret Service, the Metropolitan Police, all of them tonight acted so quickly that they prevented what could have been a horrific event where we were all sitting there in one room. The defendant will be arraigned on Monday in federal district court.
Police Department along with the escort. The inside portion of any presidential site is handled by the Secret Service and law enforcement partners. This is a multi-layered approach. The point of this checkpoint is to intercept individuals that were there, and what we see in this case is when he reached that checkpoint, Secret Service agents and law enforcement engaged him immediately. They were able to bring him into custody and prevent anyone from being harmed.
Chief Carroll, right here.
Chief Carroll, can you tell us if you found a vehicle associated with the suspect?
And are you or the FBI conducting any search warrants either on the vehicle or locations here or elsewhere around the country?
Sure, Mark. So as you can imagine, this is very early in the investigation. So, things we're digging into is his background, vehicles. Those are all things that the FBI, the Metropolitan Police Department, and the Secret Service are working together jointly to determine, is there anything else that's available? So I would imagine as we continue to go through this investigation, there will be additional search warrants and things of that nature as the investigation progresses.
Is the suspect known to law enforcement?
At this point, he was not known to the Metropolitan Police Department. I can tell you that.
Right here. There are multiple other parties and events happening associated with this weekend tonight. Is there any reason to believe that there will be security concerns at those events? Are there preparations being made locally to protect those attendees?
Yeah, absolutely not. So we have no indication. This is an isolated incident with one individual is the information that we do have. However, we do have additional officers across the city that are giving special attention. We do know there were some after parties and events that are planned that we will be providing coverage for those events.
Yep.
The president said that this is not a particularly secure building. Do you agree with that assessment?
I'm not exactly 100% familiar with this building. I do know in this incident tonight, I know there was a security plan that was developed by the Secret Service that the Metropolitan Police Department assisted with, and I know that security plan did work this evening.
Right here.
Thank you so much. Do you know specifically if President Trump was a target of this attack? And can you speak to their reporting about the suspect assembling a long weapon to get into the ballroom? Can you speak to that at all?
Yes, as we said before, we do know the president was inside the ballroom. We know there was cabinet members and many guests in there. Who specifically he was targeting at this point, that's part of the investigation. We do know that he was armed with a shotgun when he ran through that checkpoint, so that would look like a long weapon in video.
All right, right here.
To clarify, earlier you said there was an exchange of gunfire. Did the suspect fire any shots? And did the uniformed officer, do you know yet which weapon he was shot?
Yeah, obviously we're only a couple hours into this incident, so we don't have that level of information. The FBI's evidence response team is here. They're processing the scene. So as the investigation develops, all that information will be figured out with the ballistics. The ATF is also on scene here with us.
So the suspect did or did not fire a shot?
Sure. So again, it's very preliminary information. We do believe he did. However, as the investigation determines, we'll pull the shell casings. We'll be able to get more information as we review more evidence. We're very early in the investigation.
All right, we can take a couple more right here, and one more over here.
Thank you so much. So the president said that he wants there to be another event within 30 days. Given what happened tonight, do you have any sense of what additional security measures might be put in place to ensure that something similar does not happen again?
Sure. I'll toss it to the Secret Service.
Yep, this is what we plan for every day. So we take each and every case and we evaluate it, and we do site assessments. And that's why we go out and build these sites per what the event is, and that's how we go about our business.
So will there be any changes or added measures given that this did happen?
We're going to have to evaluate this evening.
Thank you.
Chief, is there any indication how the suspect got into the hotel? Was it a guest here? Are you searching rooms here?
Sure. So preliminary information, we do believe he was a guest here at the hotel. We have secured a room here in the hotel. And again, we'll go through the appropriate procedures to determine what was inside there. But that is secured. At this point, like I said, we believe he is the only suspect in this case.
Okay, to jump on that question, I understand the multi-approach to security, but to walk in with a weapon of that caliber and get all the way to the ballroom, which is on the lower level, seems to be quite an extraordinary feat. How does that happen?
Sure. So again, I mean, we're very early in the investigation, so we'll have to determine, we'll go through video across the hotel to figure out how the gun got in, how it got down here. Those things will come through the investigation. At this point, we don't have that level of detail.
Okay, last one.
Yes, video appears to show the president falling down when he was being escorted out. Was he injured at all during his evacuation?
No, we don't have any information that he was injured.
Could you clarify how he was detained? If he was not shot, could you clarify how he was detained?
Sure. So law enforcement right here in this very area, they actually tackled him to the ground and handcuffed him.
Can you release his name? In the hospital? Can you give us his name?
Not at this time.
Do we know?
We will release his name, Mark, once we have all the information. Again, we're still running a lot of things down.
How many people in the hospital?
In the hospital, so we have the Uniform Division Secret Service officer who's being evaluated at the hospital who took a round to the vest, and the suspect is being evaluated, but he was not struck by gunfire.
U.S. Attorney Pierre, are you looking at any terrorism charges?
Well, as the chief just indicated, we're very early in this investigation, but make no mistake, if there is anything like that, we will find it and we will file it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A very, very important news conference right there, Alicia. As we watch this all unfold, we know a couple things stand out to me, and you can jump in at any point. We understand that the gunman was apparently a guest at the hotel and was also not struck by gunfire, which I thought was interesting. What did you take from the news conference?
Yeah, the fact that this suspect was a guest at the hotel answers some questions that I think a lot of people had initially. Was how did this person get past the perimeter when it sounds like, according to the interim chief of police for the District of Columbia, he was there the whole time. Yeah. And they did not give a name at this point. This is the picture that was shared with the public by the president on social media, but that's a chilling idea.
It's like
they
planned this out.
According to authorities, he was in there the whole time. The U.S. Attorney Janine Pirro saying that at this point, the suspect has been charged with 2 counts of weapons possession and also assault using a firearm, and he's expected to be in federal court on Monday. Kevin.
Let's bring in the senior White House correspondent and rotating host of the Sunday Briefing, Jackie Heinrich, who was on the dais tonight when everything was unfolding. Jackie, very interesting and riveting news conference that we were just watching there, including our former colleague, Judge Janine Pirro, who's now the U.S. Attorney for the district. What else can you share tonight? You were literally right there.
Guys, can I just say it's hilarious how they're all in their evening gowns.
Association.
It's like James Bond.
Soon.
It's a James Bond movie.
That's right. I was next to the vice president when all this happened. We were seated on stage, and from where we were sitting looking out at the crowd, we just saw Secret Service agents rushing toward us. When the agents came out from behind us onto the stage and it became clear that this was a security situation, we got down onto the ground. I was down on the ground right behind the little curtain on top of our tables, hiding for a little while until Secret Service allowed me to crawl behind the stage into the hold, which was just adjacent to where the vice president and the president were being held.
I know.
And we were receiving updates from Secret Service on what was happening. It was unclear at that point if there was a threat still in the room. The scariest part for me was when I was still lying on the stage and there were agents, armed agents with their guns drawn, scanning the crowd, talking to each other and saying, "Are you tracking that? Are you seeing anything?" And they were saying no. And at that point, we didn't know if there was a threat still out there. And it was, you're wondering, do I move? Do I crawl behind the stage right now while they don't see anything? When it became clear that they were still, moving around and starting to release our area a little bit, that we could crawl behind the stage, I went back there and got a better word from the detail. And they said that a gunman had tried to come in from outside the secure perimeter, that they were scanning the room for any, other threats. They didn't think that there were any, and that the president, this is what really stood out to me, the president, from the very minute this happened, said that he wanted the show to go on. And so we stayed back there for some time while Secret Service did its job to clear the area and figure out, the extent of this. And some time passed, almost an hour, and there were hotel staff being told, get the plates ready, get the head table sorted, fix the curtain that got messed up on the front of the table, until the decision was made by law enforcement that they should follow protocol and do this another time. But listening to what was happening on the other side of all of that and seeing the person who was responsible for it is really something. It is not how we expected this night to go. It speaks to just the risks that, we face today, bringing crowds together, the sort of heightened political tension, and sad that this night could not carry on. But I thought the president's remarks were fitting, that everyone in that moment was together, and that it speaks to the importance of the First Amendment and the rights that we have as a country.
Yeah, Jackie, it's Alicia. And also the president even said tonight, he said he was going to really let it rip. And then he realized if he would have gone back on stage that it probably wouldn't have been appropriate, because he also was grateful for the journalists there, and everyone in the room seemed to be grateful for each other. And we are so glad to see that you are safe. Hearing your story really is just harrowing. I can't even imagine being there. One of the reporters in the news conference we heard with law enforcement did ask, did the Secret Service fail? And I believe it was a police chief pointed out, well, this was a multi-layered security situation here. And that's exactly what we saw in action. But just like, as you know, with Butler, Pennsylvania, the actions of the Secret Service will be kind of peeled apart. They will be looked at layer by layer. What happened? How did this person get into the hotel, manage to get the weapons in the hotel and stay in the hotel as well? And the president was very complimentary, especially, and he talked to the agent in particular who took the bullet into that bulletproof vest. What are your thoughts on that as this investigation is just getting underway?
Well, in the moment, the mayhem in the crowd was really from Secret Service trying to scan for any additional threats. And it was unclear to us while that was going on if there was a threat in the room. That was what was scary for us. But we learned very quickly that this happened outside the secure perimeter and that there was never a threat in the room. We did hear some noise from my vantage point. It sounded like plates clanging. It wasn't clear what it was had happened outside the secure perimeter. When the president talks about, whether this was a failure of Secret Service or not, I think it's true. They did do their job. They stopped the threat. It never got inside. Had that threat gotten inside the ballroom, we can only imagine what that might have looked like and felt like. There were 3,000 people in that room, and no one was hurt, which is really a miracle. I think that he's right, though, to mention that, it's when you talk about having a space that's not secure, it's a hotel after all. And at what point do guests start getting, scanned when they come in? The fact that there can be guests there in the hotel that night that are not attending the event might be something that in future years we have to think about.
You guys are awesome.
This is not something that we have had to face in the past, and it's something that we're going to have to reconcile in the future, and especially next year when I put on this event as the president of the association, taking over from Ouija in July. I'm sure we're, as an association, going to have a big conversation about that, and my heart goes out to her as well. We were set to speak tonight. She was going to speak. I was going to speak. The president obviously was going to speak. The mentalist was going to speak. There was a lot of planning that went into this, and I thought that she handled that moment with a lot of grace. And the president held it together for all of us too, because he did say from the outset, we're going to keep going. We're going to make sure that this show goes on. And we were shocked to hear that. We were like, really? Are you sure? How are we going to eat dinner now?
Right?
I bet, yeah.
But that was his first reaction, and that speaks to his experience as someone who has faced these threats multiple times now, that's his attitude. It's really something. It's a moment in history. Afterward, I was taken with my fiance, who's a member of Congress, in a bus that was dedicated to members of Congress, driven by Capitol Police, to the Capitol. I walked through the basement of the Capitol, took my shoes off because it was a very long walk, and then hailed an Uber out there and then came to the Bureau to talk to you all. But it was, for a while, difficult figuring out where people would go because there were 3,000 people in there, and we were told for quite a while that the show was going to go on. And during that moment of conflicting reports as to whether someone had been shot, whether the room was being evacuated, whether there was an active threat, that was what was the scariest. Luckily, it was all contained on the outside, and thank God for that.
Jackie, I can't imagine everything that you saw and how that must have struck you emotionally. I'm also curious about some of the others that you saw there. Immediately, what comes to mind, not just the broad group of all of you, but in particular, Caroline Leavitt, who is 8.5, 9 months pregnant, Erica Kirk, and even the First Lady, Melania Trump, who has seen her husband now go through these attempts on his life. Can you add a little color about their circumstances?
So the hold that the principals were in was directly adjacent to ours. It was, when I say ours, I mean the other members of the White House Correspondents Association board. The whole 8 of us were on stage with the president, the vice president, the first lady, and Caroline Leavitt. And the administration officials were taken to an adjacent hold that was next to ours. And we were getting information passed back and forth from the president's Secret Service detail, because it was literally just a curtain between us for a little while until he went into a different room. And Ouija, the president of the WHCA, went down to speak with the president and figure out what was going on and whether he did, in fact, really want to continue the night. She came back and told us. And so we were waiting right next to the opening of the stage, with the hotel staff who were waiting on orders to bring the food out. They had staffers going out there sort of fixing the tables for a little while. And we were all asking ourselves, well, we need to make an announcement. We need to say something about what's gone on, even if it is, we'll give you more information in a moment. And so we huddled there to sort of piece together from what we were told by Secret Service. We are a room of journalists, after all, what we could share with our colleagues in the room and then also with the world. I was trying to get emails out. I got a few out. I think there was a Wi-Fi problem. I was texting, our executives that were in the room. The first person I texted was my fiance and my mom to let them know that I was all right, because anyone, watching from home, I'm sure had a lot of questions. And when I got blips of service, I tried to get that word out, but didn't expect to be crawling in an evening gown tonight. That's for sure.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Jackie, can we talk a little bit about the hotel? Because it's a massive hotel. I was there years ago, but it's a long walk up and everything, but it sounds like the suspect was staying inside the hotel, chilling to think about. But when you have an event like this and you have guests that are staying there, and you probably don't know this off the top of your head, but one of the questions is, do they search the rooms ahead of time? Do they search them prior? Is this door to door? How much interruption happens with the guests who are there? There's that question. And then additionally, the president says this is going to happen again in the next 30 days. And I'm just wondering, from a security standpoint, how that happens.
Well, I would imagine that if it happens in the same location within the next 30 days, there are going to be probably some changes necessary to how it's planned. I'm not sure that as a planner on that board, I don't know how we could get that together in 30 days. The president wants to. I know Ouija wants to. I'm sure everything possible will happen to make that happen. But we've run into this issue before. It was a couple years ago when Joe Biden was president, and there was a Gaza protester that was staying at the hotel and tried to come in and make a scene. And that was an issue then for the same reason. That protester was staying there and had been there for days. Secret Service and local law enforcement, they shut down the roads in the hours ahead of time. It's in a major sort of traffic artery right there on Connecticut Avenue. So you can't really shut down traffic too early before something like this. But the fact that you've got guests in rooms coming in and staying there, that is something I'd want to hear more from law enforcement about. How do you secure against those possible threats? Do you have to screen everyone that comes through? Do you have to shut down, the guests who are coming in and make it more selective? I don't even know how you would do that. But maybe something we need to look at.
Incredibly difficult, right? Considering this is constantly, yearly hosted in this hotel.
And it has been for many, many years. I mean, we've been doing this dinner since Calvin Coolidge. And so it is a new problem that we'll have to figure out how to wrestle with that. But certainly just a miracle that everything went as it was supposed to, that Secret Service, sprung into action, that no one was hurt, that everyone is with us, the president, the vice president, the first lady, everybody in that room, every soul in that room, that nobody was injured is really incredible. And it was scary, but, the fact that we're here talking about it really speaks to the dedication of our law enforcement officers, the process that they have, how they spring into action, muscle memory kicks in, and how lucky we are to have that.
Yeah, lucky indeed. And it certainly undergirds the president's argument that, listen, it is high time, long beyond time, that we have a secure ballroom. You heard him mention it in the news conference afterwards, Jackie, that, listen, this would take some of this potential problem out of the equation.
He did say that. But he also said, he was asked, after Butler.
Yeah, you know what? That's fair. That's fair. You can troll me about my fire gun all the time. I've earned that.
Or events, so I wouldn't be able to do anything. So I think it's just a matter of figuring out how to make something as secure as it can be. When you're in a room of 3,000 people and there are multiple layers of security to get into that room, there are checks to make sure that you've got tickets, before you can even come down an escalator. The pieces that were in place were effective. But when you have somebody like in the video that they released, charging a checkpoint, and thankfully they were stopped right there. because had they gotten in, it could have been a massacre.
You know, Jackie, the president, as you just said, you know, you can't, after Butler, he couldn't move everything inside. There's a limit to what he is willing to limit. But the first lady was also in the room. This president is also a man with a family that loves and cares for him. And now they have gone through something so significant that feels like a repeat for the third time.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what was going through the first lady's mind. You know, she's a famously pretty private person. And we were grateful to have her there with him tonight. I can't speak for her, obviously, but the fact that the president thanked her and mentioned that she had been, you know, she was great and she went through a lot, I think he was thinking of her as well. Thinking of Caroline Leavitt, too, who's about to have her second child, and, you know, her husband worrying for her in that moment. Everybody in that room had, you know, someone that loved them, that was worried about them. But
yeah, honestly, I can't imagine how traumatizing that must have been for Erica Kirk. Like, that's way too soon. Way too soon. How horrifying. How absolutely horrifying for Erica Kirk to have to, like, go through that. Just like months after what happened to Charlie. Like, it's horrifying. It's horrifying. My heart breaks for her.
Who was taking photos as this was happening. He popped up and he was doing his job to the point where Secret Service was like, get down.
Get down.
And, you
know, Jackie, I hate to interrupt. I want to get to David Spunt very quickly. We've got an update on the shooter, Jackie Heinrich. Great reporting as always. Appreciate that. David, at the White House for us. He has the very latest, I guess, on the investigation, which is not only ongoing at this hour, it seems to be advancing just a bit, David.
Right?
Kevin and Alicia, it is. I spoke to 2 law enforcement sources briefed on this evolving investigation. The suspect's name is Cole Allen, 31 years old. He's from Torrance, California, Southern California. We know that the FBI going through his apartment right now. We're told that he may have been a guest at the hotel. That's been reported as well. Working to get a little bit more details there. But that is a picture that you see on the screen next to me of Cole Allen, per 2 senior law enforcement sources briefed on this matter. They're going, as I said, through the apartment, through cell phones, to see who he may have spoken to see if anybody was aware of this. So he's 31 from Southern California. Still so many questions, though, that we are waiting for this hour as we are approaching the midnight hour. You heard the U.S. Attorney, Jeanine Pirro, announce some of the charges. She said more charges will be filed in federal court. Also, Todd Blanche, the acting attorney general, was at the White House behind me as President Trump and members of his cabinet briefed the press. And he said that there would be more as this happens. So I suspect that we will learn more about this suspect as the days come out. But I will note that this is extraordinarily a short period of time to not only find out the name of a suspect, but see a picture, see surveillance video. I mean, this was all done within an hour or so of that incident that happened. And that's because the president of the United States and all of the top law enforcement officials wanted to make this public and be transparent so people could see what was going on and what happened. Kevin, Alicia?
David, that really was an incredible thing that the president was sharing this with us in real time as quickly as he could. He was getting it out to us. One note on something that came out of the news conference with law enforcement. The interim police chief for D.C. did say that the suspect was staying in a room at the hotel and that room had been secured. And then additionally, we were told that the suspect had a long gun, a handgun, and multiple knives. And all of that is so incredibly frightening when you just think about the fact that law enforcement says the suspect was in the hotel. And David, I don't know if you know this or not, but how does it work when you have this event and multiple events in this very specific hotel with dignitaries, and you have also guests there that have nothing to do with that event? What are the security protocols? Do you know how that works?
Well, I don't want to speculate. I don't know specifically how it would work each time, but I'll tell you this. Gun laws in Washington, D.C., the nation's capital, are incredibly tight, are incredibly strict. So to think that, yes, he may have been a guest at the hotel, as the interim police chief said, and yes, he may have had guns on him, it's curious to see, number one, how that would have happened, and number two, what the security protocol was like for guests, knowing that the president of the United States, the vice president, pretty much the entire cabinet was there. I said earlier when I was on the phone shortly after this happened, because I was in the room when it happened and heard 4 of those gunshots about a half of a floor or a floor up from where we were. That was the most secure room in the world, one could argue, at that exact time, because the president of the United States, the vice president, the cabinet was in there. There were helicopters above, and this was before that even took place, before any shots were fired. It was just such a secure room. So it's a very important question you asked, and those questions do need to be asked to the hotel and to local law enforcement, federal law enforcement, about the security posture at that hotel, given the fact that he was a guest. But I do know that D.C. gun laws are extraordinarily tight. Doesn't mean that he could not have potentially smuggled a gun inside. We'd have to see how long he was staying there for. But security was tight because this was something that was on the books for a long time, and President Trump had committed to coming to this several weeks ago. Alicia.
David, let me jump in here really quickly. Thank you, Alicia. You know, when I think about some of the coverage that I've seen tonight, the question has been, I think, a fairly decent one.
Hey, guys, there's a lot of new people watching the channel. You have to go easy. You have to go easy on the new people because the new people are not regulars like you. They don't know the Iran Revolution live Durga jokes. They're just here for the news. Guys, go easy on them. Go easy on the regular. Let's go back to the news.
We're just outside downstairs. Ronald Reagan was shot in 1981.
That's right.
And many people remember that. That was outside. That was a different circumstance. It was a different entrance. But that was where President Reagan was shot. So the hotel absolutely had history. And, you know, there certainly will be a full review of this going forward. This is where the dinner has been held for decades. It's not clear if the dinner will be continuing to be held here in the future, but it's a location that could fit all of those people. I mean, it was massive, but I will say, being inside tonight, it did feel about as packed as it felt since I've been going to that dinner. I mean, you could see that just about every person was in there, and every table they could have fit, I should say, was in there, and people were sitting almost against the walls in the back, probably further than they have been before. So the security protocols are something that authorities need to look at. Kevin.
And David, can you talk to us a little bit about where you think this investigation goes? It's just getting started. We know that they're in the apartment, as you reported, in Torrance, California.
I was muted. Guys, Soapbox is making a very, very important comment. We can't go 0 to 100, hey dad, on the new people. You have to ease them in. They don't know what goes on this channel.
The FBI crime lab in Quantico, which is about 20 minutes, 25, 30, with no traffic in Washington, D.C., just outside D.C. in Northern Virginia. So that's where they take all of that. That is the best of the best who works. Those are the best of the best who work at Quantico. As far as the charges are concerned, D.C. is unique because it's not a state. It's a city, but it's within a federal district, the District of Columbia. So federal charges almost certainly will be filed in this case. And I think just from seeing what we've seen tonight over the past hour or so, when President Trump took the podium behind me in the press briefing room, again, it's truly something to see the video and the pictures and have all of this information about this person so soon. So I suspect these charges will be escalated as far as the speed of the charges, the speed of the timetable of law enforcement. Sometimes law is slow, sometimes justice can be slow, but I have a feeling in this case things will be sped up.
David, I know you to be a tough guy. I'm just curious, in the moments when everything was unfolding, what was going through your mind?
Well, I was talking to a colleague of mine, and we were just having a regular conversation. She was sitting next to me, and I heard 4 pops, pop, 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 pop. And a lot of people started screaming and said, "Get down, there's a gun." So immediately got down on the floor, made sure my colleagues were on the floor, made sure everybody was down and secure. And we didn't move until we really could hear people going through to make sure that everybody was safe. I saw the FBI director, Kash Patel. He was being escorted out when I was able to get up from the floor to see what was going on. And it was chaotic. I mean, no question it was chaotic. But in the end, we're thankful that nobody was hurt inside, and we're thankful that the officer is okay.
You know, David, in the immediate moments when all of this was unfolding, we were hearing conflicting reports that this was going to continue, that the event was going to continue. The president wanted to go back out there and make his speech, that basically that the show was going to go on. And then we heard, no, it's going to be canceled. So it became kind of evident that there was negotiation going on between the president and the Secret Service over exactly what was possible here, right? Because he wants to show the American public that he's still standing once again. So that brings me to the next event that he says is going to happen within the next 30 days. He hopes that there will be another White House Correspondents' dinner where you can actually have dinner and hear what he has to say. How tough is that going to be to pull off?
Well, it's going to be difficult because the White House Correspondents Association, who works incredibly hard, and the board, Jackie and everybody on that board worked so hard all year to put this on. They put everything on tonight. Everything, the money was spent, the dinners were there, things were done. I mean, this was the night. So to get that together in 30 days might be difficult, but it's something the president said he wants. I suspect that he spoke to members of the board as well. And who want to do it. So that's the goal, is to get it done. But the reason that he did not come back out tonight, even though he wanted to, as he said in the briefing room, is because it just was too dangerous. The Secret Service and probably some of his aides were concerned that there could have been somebody else. I mean, when that's happening that quickly, now we know a little bit more. Tomorrow we'll know even more about this suspect. But as it's happening and you're 30, 45 minutes out, you don't know if there could be another shooter or another attacker. So you have to be careful, and that's why that decision was made.
David, we're looking at pictures of the video that the White House released, some of the security footage. What struck you in watching how quickly the gunman tried to rush past the mags and how quickly the team sprung into action?
Incredibly quickly. He was going for it. He was ready to go for it. And those
Okay, so he's just kind of repeating everything that happened. We'll keep him on stage. We'll keep him on the screen because, he's got like a tuxedo on. Guys, this was probably the most well-dressed press conference that we've ever seen. Because of course everyone was at the White House Correspondents' dinner. And then, the shooter came and the shooting happened. And the same people who were supposed to, have the night off are now literally on TV. So this is the only time you're going to see the reporters so well dressed. Like, everyone was in a tuxedo. Like, all the men were in tuxedos. All the women were in ball gowns. Yeah, there you go. So let's go to some of the super chats. Because you have sent me some super chats and I want to make sure that I do answer them. So let's see. The last one was Yoshi said this justifies the ballroom. Yes, absolutely. Like the woke left should have no other reason or excuse for, why President Trump wants to get the ballroom up and running. PJ says, thank you, Goldie, for your constant support of President Trump and the people of Iran. Well, thank you guys. Thank you, America, for helping to liberate Iran. And we love President Trump. So when I heard the news, I was horrified, and then decided to doom watch, and you guys are all doom watching with me. So there you go. Appreciate having you here. And, for those of you who are new to my channel, don't forget to like and subscribe. I actually live stream every day. about the Iranian Revolution. And, that includes, United States and Israel. And just, FYI, this is a pro-Iran, pro-Trump, pro-Israel channel. It is an anti-Islamic regime channel. So, yeah, that's what I usually do. Your favorite reporter is back. Okay, I'll stop talking so you can listen to your favorite reporter.
The Capitol, and somehow I imagine you wandering to an Uber to get over to the Bureau. So well done by you.
We'll go to the super chat after.
Your first question, I'm sorry, remind me of that one. My thoughts?
Yeah, no,
my thoughts
your
on the
thoughts.
night?
Yeah.
Well, again, I'm just grateful that, the security protocol worked as it was supposed to, and that no one is injured or worse. As far as, the night goes and rescheduling it and, the security questions about whether we can hold that event in a hotel ever again, these are things that are going to be conversations for tomorrow. I think that the takeaway for tonight is that everything went as it was supposed to in the event like something like this happened.
Half of them are drunk.
I'm grateful for the leadership of Ouija, the WHCA.
Not just drunk, but they're also hangry because this happened right before dinner was served. So not only are they drunk, they're also now they still haven't eaten. So they're all in like tuxedos or ball gowns. They're drunk. They're hungry, and now they have to work. I mean,
the rights that we are.
I'm not laughing at them in a malicious way. I'm just laughing at the situation, right?
Is done by our press corps. Unfortunately, the decision was that we should probably follow protocol, and that does make sense to me as a person who was up there and had a script written, and the sort of mood of the evening would have been difficult after that. I think that we're all grateful. I was grateful to get off that stage and hug my loved ones and tell everyone there that I loved, that I was okay, my friends, my colleagues, my fiance, and grateful that I was able to get a signal out periodically from backstage when we were still learning what was going on and try to get information to everybody. At the end of the day, we're all journalists that were in there, trying to do our best to bring the world our account of what happened. I'm sure that we will learn more details about who was at what table and what was said in the days and maybe weeks ahead. The images that are coming in, seeing myself being, getting down on the ground as a Secret Service agent comes in and swoops the vice president out behind me. It's really just sort of surreal. And thinking back to those moments and how fast but slow it was all moving. I was sitting there on stage and for a moment wondering what's going on as you're seeing these agents rushing toward you and then seeing them get up on tables and
yeah, Omi, this comment here, this is how you traumatize the newbies. You have to ease them into the Durkha. You can't just talk about the Islamic regime accusing Israel of occult sciences. You have to ease in the newbies. You can't go full Durkha on them.
The sort of nod from the agent standing above me that I could crawl back there to the backstage area where we all ended up forming and huddling with each other and figuring out what the next movements were going to be. So it moved very quickly and very slow all at once. In a way, it's hard to explain. But I didn't expect it to go that way, obviously, and grateful that if it had to go this way, that this is the conclusion. Nobody hurt, and we all get to, go home to our loved ones tonight.
Well, Jackie, you've been so eloquent in the way that you've been sharing your experience with us. But I have to know, was there a moment there when when the agents were asking each other questions that did you believe that the ballroom had been breached at some point? Were you concerned that someone was in the ballroom, a suspect of some sort?
Yes, only because of the urgency the tone of the agents talking to each other, and they had their guns drawn. They were scanning the room, and they were looking at each other. Do you see it? Are you tracking anything? No.
Wow.
And that's a tense moment, not knowing if you're flat enough on the ground, that if something happened, could it get through the tablecloth that's hiding me behind that partition, because you're elevated from the rest of the room. I was, laying as flat as I could and regretting that I didn't take my phone down with me to tell my mom and my fiance in that moment that I'm.
Okay, so they're just like reaching for like info now. I will keep your favorite reporter on the screen while I go through the super chats. Let's go. What was the last one here? So the Major Actual posted, cops carry surgical shears for reasons, just like the skis that ambushed the National Guardsman and got hauled off naked. That is true. Barb Rogers, naked snake. Yes. So Barb is referring to, let me just share this really quick. She's referring to this photo here that President Trump posted of this leftist terrorist. So yeah. Thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate that. Very thoughtful of you. T Jizzle 4269, channel name The Goldie Hour or The Golden Hour. Thank you. I will consider that. A lot of people are saying just keep it as The Goldie Show. So we'll see. I might do a poll or something later. Terry says, check Cole Allen, Torrance, California. Look at the comments without drawing any conclusions. Be fair. Yeah, it seems to be more and more like that's the case. Barb Rogers, shooter looks like a soy boy. Yeah, I mean, they all do. Didn't you guys see my rant on YouTube? Like, I posted a rant literally like 2 days ago. 2 days ago, I posted a rant where I said that the woke left are terrorists. I literally said, I posted a video on YouTube 2 days ago, and I said the woke left are terrorists. And look what happened 2 days later. You know what? I should probably share that video. Because I just go on a rant. Effie gave a $20 super sticker. Thank you so much. Oh, we have a new member. Welcome to Goldie's Gang. Pops Intrepid Peddler. Goldie, thanks for caring about our president from afar. We appreciate your voice, mega in Texas. Love that. Of course. President Trump is loved and respected all around the world. So absolutely, we appreciate everything President Trump is doing to help free Iran as well. So obviously we're concerned about this. We're just very grateful that he's okay. Big Tech says, thank you for your heart, Linus. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for the support. Okay, now we have a whole bit like Leroy Jenkins. Yeah, so guys. Yeah, Leroy Jenkins. All right. This is what it's referring to, guys. This is what he's referring to. Leroy Jenkins. Too soon? Too soon? There you go. There's a Leroy Jenkins right there. Anyways, it didn't work though. He was caught. So he was caught. Oh, why is this not working? All right. Let's go back to Fox News. What's happening?
Trump was attending the White House Correspondents' dinner. President Trump was expected to make remarks.
Why is there like a random British guy on Fox News?
This is video from inside the room, packed with high-profile journalists and leaders of our country. You see the moment the president is whisked away from the stage, the confusion and panic setting in among guests. In the last 15 minutes, we have learned the suspect's name. He is 31-year-old Cole Allen. You see him there on the floor in the lobby of the hotel. He is from Torrance, right here in California. One officer was shot, but he was protected by a bulletproof vest. We're told he will be okay. Officers then apprehended the suspect. This is incredible surveillance video of that suspect. We're not seeing it right now. That is obviously the dais you're seeing there, but there is incredible surveillance video of the suspect. This is it. Running, law enforcement chasing after him, firing at him. Police say the suspect was armed with a shotgun, a handgun, and many knives. Investigators believe he acted alone and was a guest at the hotel where the event was taking place, all of which, of course, speaks to a real amount of planning going into this attack. Again, more video here from inside the room where the president, vice president, and so many other people were, people ducking, diving under tables, police running to protect everyone and rush people off stage. President Trump, just a short time ago, held a briefing at the White House.
Well, thank you very much. That was very unexpected, but incredibly acted upon by Secret Service and law enforcement. This was an event dedicated to freedom of speech that was supposed to bring together members of both parties with members of the press. And in a certain way it did, because the fact that they just unified. I saw a room that was just totally unified. It was in one way very beautiful, a very beautiful thing to see. We're going to reschedule. We're going to do it again. We're not going to let anybody take over our society. We're not going to cancel things out because we can't do that. We wanted to stay tonight.
Joining us now on the phone, special report anchor Brett Baer. He was at the dinner, of course, when the shots rang out. And Brett, before we get to the politics, the security implications of this, I just want to get your personal thoughts about what you saw, what you heard, how you felt as it was all unfolding, Brett.
Yeah, Jonathan, good to talk to you. It was a scary situation. I mean, anybody in that room realized the commotion as it first happened. It sounded kind of like a crack, and then you heard plates and tables, and you saw this running of Secret Service agents down the middle of the aisle, some of them then going on top of tables. You had Secret Service agents in tactical gear coming out with long guns, and as Jackie described earlier, pointing them at the crowd. As you can see, they're scanning the room for any threat. Meanwhile, we don't know exactly what's going on. All kinds of rumors abounded that this guy got off a shot inside the ballroom. That was not true. He never got to that spot. But I was sitting at a table with Suzanne Scott, leader of our organization, and next to me was the Department of Homeland Security Secretary, Mark Wayne Mullen, my wife, Amy, to his left. And when it first happened, and I took video as the first moments. For some reason, I had my phone in my hand, and I started to take video, and everyone was pushing down to get under the table, and people were yelling, and I could see Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen's Secret Service kind of holding his back and holding him down. His wife was with my wife under the table as they were seeking cover, and that happened to a lot of folks. But it was a scary moment, Jonathan. It really was, and it took a little while to understand that it was clear. And in just seconds, the president and the vice president were off that stage and, surrounded by Secret Service, as you've seen before in big threatening moments.
Yeah, and Brett, staying on the personal level here, we're all journalists. Some of the journalists in that room have been in very dangerous situations. Some of them have covered wars, etc. But I think for every journalist, for you personally, it's a very different thing when you, as you say, you have your wife sitting there next to you. It changes the entire dynamic of how you react and feel, I would imagine.
No, that's true, Jonathan. And I was thinking about her. She was very shaken up, and she was under the table. I was in the moment thinking, trying to figure out what was happening. And, duck down, but I held my phone up, and I think I shared that video. We've been playing some of it on Fox, and you can see everyone huddled down. But you're right; it's a moment.
You know, guys, you know what I was about to do? Like right before I started the live stream, I like laid down on my sofa and I was like, you know what? I'm going to have a chill night. I'm going to, you know, like, I don't know, make myself a drink, which I never ended up making. And I was like, you know what? You know what I did today, guys? You know what I did today to spoil myself? I bought myself a cookie, okay? I bought myself a chocolate chip cookie. Okay, and as you can tell, I haven't even opened it yet. Like it's the packaging, it's unopened. It's unopened. So as soon as I sit down on my sofa and I'm like, I've had a long day. I'm going to sit down and I'm just going to like watch some Netflix and, you know, eat a chocolate chip cookie. And then I get the news and I still haven't had my chocolate chip cookie. So who knows when I'll have my chocolate chip cookie, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm happy to do this. I'm happy to do this. No munchies. I'm not into that stuff. Like I don't judge people. Like if that's what they want to do, that's fine. But like I'm not into that kind of stuff. Because for me, like my biggest asset is my brain. So I like to be clear-headed at all times. So yeah. Like I was probably just gonna make myself like a vodka soda. No. I was gonna make myself like a vodka soda and then, you know, just have like a chocolate chip cookie. But that never happened. So there you go. No, I don't do anything else. Guys, let me tell you something. Your brain is your biggest asset, right? Because everything else comes and goes, but your brain is what you need to invest in. So you take care of your brain, everything else is good, right? So that's just my thing. I don't judge other people, but it's not my thing. You know what I mean? Like, as you know, as Armin and I, we're like, so there you go. All right, let me go to some of the super chats here. And I will answer, I'll try to answer your questions. So, okay. Pat's G. Crook says, cocaine speed, demonic speed. Glad Trump was protected by a higher power. Yeah, I agree. Like when you look at this video, it's crazy. Like it's insane. Look at how fast this guy goes through. It's wild.
It looked like he checked it twice.
Look at this.
Lieutenant Hudson, you monitoring this air?
Look at that. And then look, when he gets here, like he even like he like lowers his head, right? He lowers his head to like duck through. Like what an insane psycho freak. What an insane psycho freak. Oh my gosh, thank God for Secret Service and all those people who like stopped him, right? Yeah, okay, that's true. So guys, what Ninja Rooster is referring to here is I accidentally called the guy, I called him a jihadi. I don't know if he's a jihadi or not. The reason I called him that is because it's force of habit. Because for those of you who are new to my channel, for the last 119 days, I've been live streaming every day talking about the Iranian Revolution, where we, expose jihadis and, the Durkas and, all that nonsense. So it was force of habit. Next Gen Justice. If this is a teacher of the month, I say homeschool your kids, folks. I agree. Especially in California, like these people are crazy. And guys, this is the problem. Like they're the ones indoctrinating the children. Okay, so I have no idea who he is. Without having looked into him or anything, I wouldn't be surprised if he supports Palestine or, Palestine as we call it, right? So I would say there's probably a high likelihood that this insane leftist freak probably supports Palestine and thinks that Islamic terrorists are, resistance against American imperialism or, some garbage nonsense or whatever, right? So keep an eye out for that. PJ, yeah, America. God bless America. Guys, that's why when someone was like, that's why when the real spec said Goldie should come back with her flag blanket. Yeah, so usually I have my Iran flag, but in honor of what happened tonight, I'm here with my America flag. And it's not even a blanket, it's literally just a flag, right? So I just have a flag. There's my Iran flag there. My Iran flag, which is always there. Yeah. Right? So there's my Iran flag, but in honor of President Trump, and that's why I have my America flag on tonight. And yeah, you know what? It makes a nice blanket. It keeps me warm. It's nice. I like blankets. Talig sent a sticker. Thank you very much. Peace Dynamo. Big respect for hosting us all doom scrolling together. Thank you. I'm happy to do it. Like we're all doom scrolling together. So yeah, I'll get back to the news momentarily. Talig says, did you notice that Vance was rushed out first? It's not that he was rushed out first. It's just that Vance was closer to the right side of the stage, right? So it's not that he was rushed out first. It's just he was closer to the exit, whereas President Trump, being, the guest of honor, was in the center of the stage, in the middle of the stage. So, it took a few seconds longer, and President Trump was taken out from the other side of the stage because, security reasons. In situations like this, as I understand it, in like situations like this, and guys, again, I'm not an expert in this stuff. I'm a geopolitical analyst when it comes to Iran and the Middle East. So right now, my knowledge about these situations comes from movies that I've seen. So in the movies, okay, when there's a national security threat in the movies, usually they keep the president and vice president separate, right? Because that way, at least you can guarantee that one chief of staff, God forbid if something should happen to one, the other is there. That's my knowledge and experience based on movies, which I think is correct, right? So that's why they separate them. They separate them for security reasons, because you want to have, I know it's a morbid thing. It's a morbid thing to say, but that's how the security protocol works, right? Yeah, guys, I can answer things. Oh, I'm correct. There you go. See? Wow, guys, Goldie is always right. Even in these situations, Goldie is always right. I mean, of course, I was a politician, so I actually do kind of know these things. Like that's the protocol for, Canadian politics, and I just assumed that it would be the same protocol for American politics. So there you go. Yeah. I mean, it's a morbid thing to say, but Loki Doki is right. It's like if one gets taken out, the other doesn't. I know it's a morbid thing, but that's a security protocol there, right? Yes, I do keep my composure without my fire gun. Yes, if anyone wants to know the reference to the fire gun, go watch my rant about YouTube silencing me, disconnecting me, and I'm so frustrated. I talk about a fire gun instead of a firearm. Julian says, JD's wife is pregnant. I hope she's okay. I hope so too. Everyone send her a prayer. Post Intrepid, starting a donation fund for Goldie's evening gown live. Guys, I have numerous evening gowns. I would never wear one in a live stream, especially right now. It's midnight. I need to go to bed soon because I wasn't planning on being here, but happy to share this. But I'm not doing an evening gown live stream. Oh, and then there's a whole bunch of your Durka comments, which is really funny. And then Wyatt says he was from California, which has strict laws. He flew on a plane, which are strict on guns on the plane, and DC has strict guns. How did he get the guns? I mean, that's an excellent question. So, yeah, hopefully, well, not hopefully, but I know Secret Service and FBI, they're going to look into that. Kash Patel Guys, Kash Patel did not look happy in that press conference, right? Like if we go to the White House press conference, let me pull it up on YouTube here. So if we go to the White House press conference, you can obviously and very clearly see that Kash Patel is not happy, guys. Take a look at this. Guys, I only did it because everyone is okay. I only did it because everyone is okay and there's no casualties. And it's been a tough night, and I know you guys needed the laugh. So that's why I did it. Yes, for those of you who are new, Rick rolling is a part of, yes. But anyways, going to Kash. This is what I wanted to share. So you can tell that Kash Patel, he is not happy, right? Like that face, this is the face of someone who is going to get to the bottom of what happened, and like no mercy. Like he is not happy at all whatsoever. So yeah, that's a very, very good question, Wyatt. And I have a feeling Kash Patel is going to get to the bottom of that. We have some new members, Earl and Peace. Thank you. Welcome to Goldie's Gang. Grim TT got it from Goldie first tonight. Thanks. Wow. Thank you for joining my doom scrolling channel. Really appreciate that. Pat says reporters were expecting to be lucky in a different way, not interns having to report a breaking story live. Yeah, I know that's why they're all in tuxedos and evening gowns. They do all look like wizards. Yeah, some of them do for sure. Jonathan says one photo has emerged, shows him, Cole Allen, receiving a Teacher of the Month recognition in LA County in December 2024. Cole, what up? Yeah, that's actually that's this photo here that we showed earlier. So thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, like it's wild. It's what, guys, these are the people that are teaching your children, right? This is the woke left. This is the woke progressive left. Guys, I made a video a few days ago about how these people are insane terrorists. And now look, another one of them just tried to assassinate President Trump. Look at them. Look at how evil they are. Like, look at these people. They're crazy. They're wild. They're crazy. Right? Pats, how long do you think before CNN and the rest call the Secret Service racist for hog tying a minority? And oh, guys, CNN was already like, remember, we tuned into CNN for like 3 seconds, and CNN was basically like speaking about why they need to ban guns because of like school shootings. Like, it was just wild. CNN is crazy. CNN supports the Islamic regime. Pats, Tusi and Armin always miss the good events. Goldie was the lone person awake when the supreme leader met his virgin goats. Yeah, guys, we were the ones that were awake when United States and Israel, they boomed Khamenei, sent him to hell, where he belongs. So yeah, there you go. That was a good night. That was a good night. Hatchet Man, much respect from Australia. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for joining us. Dream of Goldie trying to assassinate a Durka. Yeah, no. I'm not a fan of violence myself per se, so that's not something that I would do. But you know, when it does happen, I'm not upset. Let's put it that way. but it's not something that I would personally do. How many times did you do that today? How many times did I do what today? What are you talking about? How many times did I what? Yeah. I don't know. I lost count. Secret Service has some explaining to do. Yeah, I mean, they're definitely going to look into it, but you have to remember these people have also become incredibly sophisticated, right? So, it's hard. It's difficult. It's difficult because, like, how are you able to predict accurately what's going on? Right? But I mean, the fact that they did everything, like, to me, they did everything that they possibly could. And the fact that there are no casualties, to me, like, that shows that the Secret Service did their job properly, right? Because look, this guy tried everything. Like, he stayed in the hotel. He was already a visitor in the hotel. And then, he tried to, like, Leroy Jenkins his way through. And Secret Service stopped him. Right? Secret Service stopped him. So I don't know.
Holding room immediately after it happened. I just kind of got to hang out and hear the deliberations, and just to give some people some insight into the way he thinks. The guy that we saw in Butler, the nation saw, the world saw that night. The guy that got up and after being hit with a bullet, screamed "fight, fight, fight," that said, "No, you're not taking me out on a stretcher." That guy was in that room, in that holding room, seconds after this all happened tonight. That guy was saying, "We're going back out there," and I'm sure everyone around him was like, "No, we really don't want you to do that." At that moment, we didn't know. At that moment, and so. And you got to give the president a lot of credit too. I mean,
I agree. The Secret Service actually succeeded, and they saved everyone and kept them safe. That's what the Secret Service did.
Pull this event off. Okay, but we're doing it again within the next 30 days. We're going to reschedule this. It's what makes this person very unique, a very unique figure in history. And I don't think he's wrong either in saying, whether you like President Trump or you don't, he is consequential. Everything he does is big. It is consequential. He does not deliberate, through this prism of, how will the history books see me? On the issue of Iran, for example, it's they can't have a nuclear weapon. End of sentence. They're way closer than anybody thought. We will stop and we will neutralize that threat. Knowing that there will be people that maybe disagree. There certainly has been no shortage of critics in that regard. But that is who he is. That defines him. And I think that is what separates him from so many other presidents. Unfortunately, I think when presidents start thinking about their legacy and they are governed by fear, which Donald Trump really doesn't know in the sense that most people do, this is the guy that you have here. And he showed it. Look, you saw it at his press conference, but that's what I was hearing in real time tonight.
Yeah.
And
guys, I've done interviews with Sean Hannity about Iran before. I love Sean Hannity.
Presidents throughout the last few decades, we see them age before our eyes. President Biden it is a whole different kettle of fish, obviously. But I feel like President Obama, you saw him age.
That's an understatement, Jonathan. That is an understatement, but go ahead.
But President Obama, we saw him age. His hair changed color. I think both President Bushes looked considerably older within 4 years of taking the presidency.
I'll check it out after.
President Trump doesn't seem to me, despite all the pressures he's under, despite everything he's been through, despite the attempts on his life, he doesn't generally seem to be aging in the same way that other presidents have. His energy levels are clearly unmatched, I think, in presidents we have seen. What makes him so energetic, do you think?
You know, I've often kidded with him that if he could, he would sleep in the Oval Office. This way, he wouldn't have to walk that far to get to work and go right back to work the minute he woke back up. For the few hours that he does sleep on any given night, you know, look, he said it tonight, and it's very real, it's very genuine, it's very sincere. He loves this country. He loves this job. He's dedicated to it. He knows the risks that are associated with it. He accepts it and he moves on. He's not somebody that is going to cower in a corner in fear. It's not his nature. It's actually the opposite. I mean, the more that you push him, the more that he's willing to take more chances. Which is the opposite of most people in life. And, you know, if I've learned one thing watching him and observing him, you know, I've never seen any one political figure in my lifetime, and I don't think we'll ever see one again, that has had to withstand so much in terms of what they have thrown at him for the entire 11 years this man has been on the political scene. From the day that he came down that escalator, they have been after him. And to the extent that it is now being disclosed and made available to us, weaponization, the Russia hoax, FISA abuse, all of it is at a magnitude this country had never seen before. And he engenders great love from people. And then on the other side, if you don't agree with him politically, you know, Trump derangement syndrome is very real for some.
Yeah.
But, you know, the one thing I can say tonight is there'll be plenty of time to sort out whatever issues may exist as it relates to, you know, are we doing enough in terms of securing an entire perimeter? In this case, it would be an entire hotel. You know, I think moving forward, if we had to go back before this night, I think every inch of that hotel needed to be swept. And that would mean every room, every crevice, every corner, every single place. And I think that we learned that in Butler. We learned that at Trump International. And unfortunately, we're learning it again tonight. We cannot risk this anymore. This has got to change.
Yeah. Sean, it is always a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks, Jonathan.
The great
Appreciate it.
Sean
Great job.
Hannity, a consequential president. Like him or not, he is certainly a consequential president. We're joined now by Fox News correspondent David Spunt, who is live at the White House with the latest from there. Hello, David.
How am I supposed to go to bed?
Hello,
Guys,
Jonathan. Good to be with you. President Trump, the First Lady, other members of the cabinet spoke tonight here in the White House briefing.
I've been live streaming Fox News for 3 hours now. They haven't gone to commercial yet.
Also, Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche. Thank God everyone is safe. It was a frightening night for those that were at the dinner. I was at the dinner as well. Secret Service Director Sean Curran, who I will note was standing next to President Trump when he was hit in Butler, Pennsylvania in the summer of 2024. He's now the Secret Service Director. He just put out a statement, and I want to read it. He says, "Tonight we saw exactly why our brave men and women do each and every day to protect our protectees. It's not easy, and I will tell you that they performed admirably. We got to see what they do, and that individual, when he charged a checkpoint, was apprehended. It shows that our multi-layered protection works, and I'm grateful to our partners that help assist us with building these sites and protecting these sites." That coming from Secret Service Director Sean Curran, who was on the president's personal detail. But certainly behind the scenes, there will be a lot of discussions with the Secret Service about how this cannot happen again. The Secret Service did an excellent job tonight. One of the agents was actually shot, but had a bulletproof vest and is okay. We're all grateful for that. But the question is, the security at the hotel, as Sean was just talking about, and the D.C. interim police.
My browser crashed. Wait, give me a moment here. All right, let me bring back the Let me bring back the visual here. My browser crashed. Sorry, guys.
Any more the clues about motive or anything from your extensive sources at DOJ?
Nothing yet. And on stories like this, we always want to be careful, but nothing yet.
Sure.
I suspect that we will hear fairly soon in the coming days and whatnot. And I will add this about the security posture, something that is kind of.
It's true. Like, it was only like a few months ago that we would have these documentary watch parties. And yeah. Dr. Cobra, you're one of the OGs. You're one of the OGs from when I was just starting my channel. So, yeah.
Virginia. So clearly the security apparatus is going to pick up greatly, even more for their visit now, for the royal visit, because of what happened
in America.
Just a few hours ago, Jonathan.
Absolutely. That's a really good point, David. And David, I don't want to leave you without asking you, how are you doing? It's a terrifying thing to have gone through. Are you okay?
I'm okay. Thank you very much for asking. I was talking to a colleague. I heard 4 gunshots, boom, 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 boom. We got down to the floor immediately. People started screaming to get down. We did that, made sure everybody was okay. Eventually, we got back up. We all got out of the building as soon as we could, but certainly was a traumatic experience, no question. I'm just glad that everybody's okay. That's the most important thing of the night, that everybody, including that officer, is okay and they have their suspect.
All right, guys. So I think I'm going to end it here because we pretty much have all the news that's like breaking. And guys, remember, we broke the news before it was on Fox News. So we broke the news about President Trump's Truth Social posts and, a whole bunch of other things as well. So I think we're going to end it here because I feel like, the rest of the night is just going to be sort of like a repeat and filler and things like that. Right. So, thank you, everyone, for joining. This is not Iran Revolution Live. This is the Goldie Show. But I'll be back tomorrow for Iran Revolution Live. So make sure you like and subscribe because, this is a pro-America, pro-Iran, pro-Israel channel. And in honor of Americans, I will play America F Yeah. But I'm going to play the clean version, not the uncensored version, because we have a lot of newbies and it's too late, guys. It's too late to eat my cookie. I'm going to save it for tomorrow. But guys, I'm just happy that President Trump is safe and I'm happy that everyone is okay. So, ultimately, even though this was like a crazy leftist attack from a deranged leftist freak, thankfully, no one was injured, and the left just keeps on exposing themselves. So, all right, we'll see you guys tomorrow. And as always, I'm Yisrael Chai. God bless America, Payanda Iran, and Javid Shah. Should I play the original version? Should I play the original version before I go? I mean, it is like 1 a.m. on a Saturday night, so President Trump survived another assassination attack, so okay. All right. I will play the original version in honor of all the Americans here. Good night, guys. See you tomorrow. Don't tell Armin. Don't tell Armin. It's okay. You know what? Doesn't matter. This isn't even Iran Revolution Live. This is the Goldie Show, so I can do it.
America.